Oh yeah, well, we're gonna look at the Starlink thing. Elon Musk's Starlink satellites are falling to Earth at an alarming rate. Up to 4 satellites from Elon Musk. Get the fuck out of here. Musk's massive Starlink constellation are falling to Earth every day, according to space trackers. Jonathan McDowell, an astronomer at the Harvard Smithsonian Center of Aerophysics in the U.S., recorded an average of between 1 to 2 Starlink satellites deorbiting each day in 2025. Oh, that's interesting. I guess their lifespan has... Yeah, I guess their lifespan has ran out, if they're deorbiting like that. The figure is expected to rise to around 5 per day as SpaceX continues to grow its space internet constellation. Videos of Starlink satellites falling to Earth have appeared across social media in recent weeks, causing concern that they could pose a risk to people on the ground. Well, I mean, I would think they're tracking those things, especially if they're fucking falling like that. There are currently around 20,000 objects being tracked in low Earth. Yeah, see. Right. Usually when you're placing objects in space like that, obviously they're gonna fucking put trackers on that. You know how dangerous it is just to fucking throw up bullshit in the air like that? Including 12,000 working satellites, 8,500 of which are Starlink satellites. With a lifespan of around 5 years. Yeah, so, yeah, there it is. They have a 5-year lifespan. Starlink satellites are purposefully designed to burn up entirely in Earth's atmosphere before reaching the ground. So, yeah, basically, usually they try to make the material out of certain, fucking stuff so that it can do that, right? That's the reason. So while the events may appear alarming as they streak across the sky, they are not dangerous. Dr. McDowell warned that other objects re-entering could pose a significant threat as they are not being controlled by their operators. Every few months, there's a report of a piece of space hardware that's re-entered that ends up on the ground as a significant piece of debris. He said in a recent conversation with space news publication Earth Sky. So several times a year, we're taking those photo shots at people on the Earth, unfortunately, so far missing. So far, we've been very lucky, but it won't last. Well, I mean, yeah, obviously. I mean, with look, you keep populating the fucking Earth, and then you start putting up a bunch of fucking satellites all over the place. Yeah, you might have some issues. Yes. Scientists are still trying to understand what impact this rate of deorbits might have on the Earth's atmosphere. The deorbiting Starlink may not pose a risk to people, but Dr. McDowell said they may still prove... Okay. Are trying to understand what impact its rate of deorbits might have on the Earth's atmosphere. Pollutants from the burnup, such as aluminum oxide particles, could contribute to warming of the atmosphere. Not clear yet, really. Okay, so he's just trying to make problems out of something that's not completely well known yet. I mean, we all know that, yes, you burn up shit. Yeah, you're fucking polluting the air in a sense. Right? I mean, you make a fucking fucked up concoction is gonna fuck up the right chemicals. Gonna fuck up the air, right? In a sense. Anyways. Dr. McDowell said the research is underway. Oh, okay. So, so there's a problem here, but we're researching right now. You just have to wait. We're gonna prove Elon Musk he's a problem. Okay, what about NASA? Is NASA a problem? Oh yeah, that's right. They don't do anything anymore. Ay ay ay. Whatever, dude. Who has lied to the black community? Oh shit.
I view Al Sharpton as a poverty pimp.
Oh, Al Sharpton. Yeah, that's it.
Biden says that the country is systematically racist. You know, I almost want to look at him and say, haven't you been the system for the last 50 years?
Obama, the first black president, overwhelming number of people voted for him. Where was the racism then?
Everyone in my community, we used to stand in line for government cheese
racism?
and other handouts. I realized we had
But
something
now
in
all
common.
magically,
We
since
all
Trump's
live
in
in
power now, he's a
Democrat-run
racist.
cities.
I have 1,500 poor people that are below poverty level in the community, and I'm able to get $10,000 for each one. Of course, I'm going to say that there's poor people. I'm not going to give them an opportunity to get up off their feet, and that's what the Democrats are doing.
They are fighting to
Damn.
destroy Black America
Called out the
through
Democrats.
abortion. There were 2 Planned Parenthood establishments within walking
Oh
distance
yeah,
of
don't
my
forget
high
some of these
school.
Are
places were
those
getting
people that you are voting
firebombed
for every
by
single year, are they
leftists
racist?
for some
They're the
fucking
ones that's
reason.
keeping you on a Democrat plantation, and to me, that's racist.
I went to Planned Parenthood with an unplanned pregnancy. The nurse asked, did I want to hear
Also,
about
the
my
leftists
options? My
love
options
using
were to have
Planned
an
Parenthood
abortion on Tuesday or
to get
Thursday.
a
The polarization, the left versus right, the black versus white. I've seen Black Lives Matter, white people in the
Oh,
names of
no.
Black Lives Matter.
Oh no, not the Black
across
Lives
black
Matter.
cops,
Oh no.
get into their faces and call them the N-word, as if the badge makes them less black.
I work for Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry that I scared you.
People have had to make it like they're apologizing for their whiteness.
And could you just please apologize?
Sorry, what does that
for,
have
you
to
know,
do
for
with
your white
anything?
privilege?
What's disheartening to me is that those who are within the black
my goodness,
community
the white
are
privilege.
allowing for that to take place. Because that would
Okay,
be the
what
same
about
thing
you?
for us
Don't you have
apologizing for our
black privilege
blackness.
too?
Well, you were
I mean,
once the
just look.
oppressor, so now I must be the
There's tons
oppressor.
of
You
black
don't
people who
avenge
are
evil
very
for evil.
successful.
It's
What the fuck are you
okay
talking about?
to say disparaging things against white people. Our former president, Barack Obama, said it, about old white men are a problem. Except when it comes time for him to fly around on their airplanes and ride around on their yachts, or be their next door neighbors, or endorse them for president like Joe Biden, then old white men are okay.
We're not victims. Life is not always happening to you. Sometimes life is happening for you.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. And there's still people who love Al Sharpton and suck his fucking penis. His old crony ass penis. What is this? Oh, we should watch this. This is by Robert Gouveia, Esquire. Check him out if you want. I wanted to watch this because it just looks like a bunch of redacted bullshit.
Everybody was bewildered. I mean, he was
Ah.
really bewildered, but we were bewildered by how bewildered he was. Like, that's our president? Everybody's looking around? Are you sure? Yeah, man, that was real. That was real for 4 years. Following the visit of Joe, these officials within the administration privately mused at the U.S. media scrutiny of the alleged ties of Joe's family to corrupt business practices in Ukraine. Dang.
Uh-oh.
Senatorship.
Uh-oh, Joe.
You would have been fired.
Sleepy
Oh,
Joe, what
censored
you
by
been doing?
Congress. You're lying.
CIA declassifies some very interesting documents that show that Joe Biden is a cover-up artist and was doing everything he could to prevent this new document from getting released. In other words, the emails that we're about to see reveal that they don't and did not want a very damning report to come out. Here is what the CIA Director John Ratcliffe had to say. Today, I declassified CIA intelligence regarding Ukraine after determining it is in the public interest. The Biden administration, the Biden team, blocked the CIA.
There you
to
go.
take
You
away
see
from
his subscribe.
distributing
Go
a
hit it. There you
report
go.
on Hunter's corrupt
You saw
Ukraine
it.
business.
You saw the button.
They didn't want it reported. CIA was colluding with him. Then VP Joe Biden's team intervened in February 2016. So rewind the clock. Elections coming up. Trump's running against Hillary. Biden does not want this coming out. And this is about perceptions about senior Ukrainian officials. So it's CIA reporting on internal conversations from Ukrainians that were talking about having met with Joe and Hunter. The request that the intelligence community withhold the
even
report,
Hunter,
a
the
senior
Biden,
CIA
both the
official said was
Bidens were there.
extremely rare
Whoa.
and unusual. But the
Hello.
report was
Were they trying to
compiling
sell
the reactions
crack
of
to them
senior
too?
Ukrainian officials who were
Were they trying to sell them some
Biden's
hookers?
visit over to Kyiv. And remember, when Biden went over there, he said, well, I told him to fire this prosecutor.
How about
I'm
some
not gonna
human
withhold
trafficking?
$1 billion
God damn it,
in
sorry.
foreign aid.
Okay,
By
I'll
gosh,
stop.
they fired him, remember? In the aftermath of the country's revolution and the Russian seizure of Crimea, Biden had been appointed by Obama to go over there. But the document shows that they were disappointed in Joe. He came over there and they had private musings about what went down. The trip to Kyiv from Biden was the subject of a lot of scrutiny because Hunter, if you remember, was working with Burisma at the time and getting paid $83,000 a month for knowing nothing about oil and gas. It was on that trip that Biden decided to alter U.S. policy. He said, we're going to ask you to fire this dude who was looking into hunty poop. The president said, I'm going to withhold $1 billion in a U.S. loan. And
He was looking into his paraphernalia.
At the time,
paraphernalia
Shokin, the
and
prosecutor, was probing
hooker and blow
Burisma and its
shit.
owner. So they hired Hunty, who was the VP son, to get his daddy to put pressure on them, and they did. Totally corrupt. His son Hunter had just officially joined the board. Shortly before the vice president's trip, they warned that Burisma was corrupt. Perfect for
No,
Hunter. That's why
he
was on there.
was
Now,
a new
Piat
man
later told his
after
successor,
that.
Marie Yovanovitch, that he believed
You
that
think I
Hunter's
give a
presence on
fuck?
Burisma would undercut the anti-corruption message that the
you
VP
think I
was there
trust
to
these
talk about.
fucking?
We
You
don't
think
want
I
corrupt
trusted
cronyism. We
a
don't hire
cancer
our kids and
patient
pay them
as a
millions of dollars,
president?
except
Yeah,
hire
no.
my kid and pay him millions. But
Sorry,
Biden's
not
demands broke with
happening.
the State Department and European assessments that they were concerned about this, and so he put the pressure on them to not release it, and they didn't release it. And so now CIA Director John Ratcliffe is publishing it to expose just how
You can't
corrupt the
say
Biden
that.
crime family ultimately
that's not
is and
factual
was. And here
information.
is
Shut the
what
fuck
got
up. You think I give a
declassified
fuck what's
courtesy of the
factual?
CIA
You guys have been
director.
lying your
Top
ass-
secret,
You-
now released
You guys
to
tried to
the
put
public.
a disinformation board. I to get the like. I give a fuck what anybody says.
Courtesy of the CIA, gobs of redactions that we cannot see. So some other classification level here redacted, serial numbers redacted,
Fucking
intro
cunts.
paragraph or whatever this is about the CIA.
That's why I
redacted.
don't
Now,
believe
here's more.
streamers.
Information report not finally
that's why I have.
evaluated intelligence.
That's why I
still
have
something,
issues
something. Here,
trusting
named
what some
recipient
people
only
say
disseminated.
sometimes.
So a
'cause,
lot of
like,
this is very repetitive.
you sound
It's
like
they
you're
just wanna-
bullshitting.
Like they have like an 8-page limit. It's like you have to make your
You
report
sound like a
8 pages.
lying
Like, perfect.
piece
Let me
of
just copy
shit
and
who
paste a
needs to
bunch of
get
stuff here. So
hung.
we'll go through it. Here's the latest. This is the country that we're talking about, Ukraine.
Or at
and
least
the
you
United
have an
States. They
ulterior
say
motive
this
to
is
look
the
like a
subject
good
of this memo.
person, but
It
you're not
is
actually a good person.
non-disseminated
You should
intel
get hung.
information. These are the reactions of blank Ukrainian government officials to Biden's visit, to the early December visit of a senior U.S. government official. That's Joe. The date of this information, December 2015. They write in their summary, as of mid-December 2015, these officials within the administration of the Ukrainian president, Poroshenko, expressed bewilderment, which is a common thing when you're around Joe. Everybody was bewildered. I mean, he was clearly bewildered, but we were bewildered by how bewildered he was. Like, that's our president? Everybody's looking around. Are you sure? Yeah, man, that was real. That was real for 4 years. So they were bewildered even back in 2015. They had 4 years of
wasn't
being
Petro
bewildered. And
Poroshenko
disappointment.
kind of
We
like
were also very
pro-Russian in a
disappointed.
sense?
That is also true. To the December 7th and 8th visit of Joe
'Cause he kinda
Biden
let
to
that chick,
Kyiv,
like,
Ukraine. Now, after the visit,
all
these
that shit that
officials
went down in
assessed from the Ukrainian
Ukraine and
perspective
shit.
that the vice president of the United States had come to Kyiv almost exclusively to give a generic public speech, just ramble off. He had no intention of discussing any substantive matters with the president or other officials with the Ukrainian government. Because what's he going to talk about? He doesn't talk policy or anything substantive. He's there because his son needs them there to fire the prosecutor. That's why he's there. So he shows up, and this is all redacted. Would like to know a lot more about this, but that's just a summary. They issue a warning before we get into the details. They say, all right, listen, due to the extreme sensitivity, this report should not be distributed.
This has
and should be distributed only to the
confidential.
named
This
recipients.
has some,
No further
this has
distribution
some
is
national
authorized without
security
prior
issues.
approval of the
Oh, we
originating
can't say
agency.
what the fuck
Violations
happened
of
here.
established handling procedures are subject to penalty, including termination of access to this reporting channel. So don't share this. Any discussion about this report is strictly prohibited. Any references to this report in derived or finished intelligence should include this warning. So, like, don't talk about this. Here's the text. Thank you. Point one.
Please don't
explain.
talk about
As of
this or
mid-December
we'll fucking hang
2025,
you.
These officials within the administration of Poroshenko, again, kind of repetitive, expressed disappointment with Joe and
Fucking
bewilderment. These
stupid.
officials highlighted that prior to the visit, the Poroshenko administration and other Ukrainian officials expected the U.S. Vice President, Joe, to discuss personnel matters with Poroshenko during the visit, and they had assumed that Joe would advocate in support of or against specific officials within the Ukrainian government. He just wanted one person to go, which is the person who is investigating his son. Now, after the visit, these officials assessed the vice president had come to Kyiv almost exclusively to give a generic public speech and had not had any intention of discussing substantive matters with their president or other officials within the government. Following the visit of Joe, these officials within the administration privately mused at the U.S. media scrutiny of the alleged ties of Joe's family to corrupt business practices in Ukraine. Dang. So they're all sitting around, and I don't know, man, the CIA has
Damn,
bugs
got
or
called
something.
out.
Like, you have the private conversations of the Ukrainian president. You're like, well, they're just talking. I mean, they were ripping on them. Privately mused. Okay, so they're sitting around. You know, Joe Biden came over here to lecture us about corruption. His son is working for Burisma. That's corrupt as it gets. You know how much they're paying him? No, how much are they paying
Not
him?
only that, but he was
$83,000 a month.
also
You're
at one
kidding me.
point
And
selling
Joe wants the
hookers and
prosecutor
blow.
who's investigating their corruption to be fired. All these Ukrainians sitting around their Oval Office talking about this. CIA's like gobbling it all up. Like, okay, perfect. Write that down. Put it in this report. These officials.
I wonder if he
viewed
was.
the ties
I
of
wonder if he
Joe's
was selling
family
drugs to these
corruption
people
in
too.
Ukraine
He was
as
selling
evidence
hookers
of a
at
double
blowing at one
standard
point.
within the United
Maybe he was
States
selling some
government towards
pharmaceutical
matters
drugs
of
too. I
corruption
don't
and
know.
political power. Oh, dang, son. They're coming over here and
Big
lecturing us
Pharma's
about
in on this
corruption while
too,
Joe
I
Biden
bet.
and his corrupt family are taking full advantage of all their positions of power. They're ripping him. You can just expect it. Because it's true. As he continues,
Remember the
they say,
opium
"We've got some
wars that
sensitive
happened?"
intelligence methods, which is how we gobbled this all up. That's why they've got the
Right?
private conversations of Ukrainian
Should we
government
go back to
officials.
the
Any
opium wars?
transmission might be
Goddamn,
subject to
I'm sorry.
criminal prosecution or espionage laws. And like, how do we get the data? Oh, it's like you got bugs in there or whatever, tapping that phone. So dissemination redacted, top secret redacted. Here's more redacted, classified, declassified redacted, more redacted. And
Redacted,
again,
redacted.
same stuff. Don't disseminate this. It's about Ukraine and the United States, and so many good details about what they said. and what
balls
they talk
redacted.
about. Yeah, no, Hunter comes over here. He's got
Penis
like 55
redacted.
prostitutes that he sees all over the
Penis,
place. He's
penis
broke as hell. He's
redacted.
cracked out on cocaine, whatever, crack cocaine. And he just goes on and on and on. On and on and on. And it keeps going. In
God
late
damn it.
2024, redacted.
You can't make
redacted,
this
redacted,
shit
and
up.
somebody
Yeah.
undertook something to review all current and historic databases of the blank intelligence reports processing system. So somebody in late 24 from the Biden administration did something to look at the databases. During this effort, so-and-so identified the information that we found, which had been drafted in 2016 based on 2015 information. In reviewing the sparse reasoning left in the reviewer's comments at the top of this shell, as well as the private comment sections following the double dashed line below regarding why the report had not been disseminated at the time of collection, is all a bunch of nonsense, is probably what they're saying. It's all ridiculous. Why didn't you publish this? Why did you leave this like in a draft state and shove it in the draft bin in your email? Okay, because it's, nonsense. And nonsense and nonsense and nonsense, and we read it, and we found it. Sounds like they just came across this. In late 24, somebody's looking and just reviewing the databases, and during this effort, this person identified this thing, that the CIA said, we just heard the Ukrainians talk about how corrupt Joe Biden is. Now, with respect to the FI-focused portion of the content, all agreed that while the information would have met the dissemination threshold, okay, so like this is good data. We heard the Ukrainians were inside their White House and we got it. When they should have been disseminated contemporaneously when collected, like comes in, tell everybody about it. It did not add to the intelligence picture in 2024. Huh, that's interesting. Didn't add to the intelligence picture. Is that because it would have been damning to Joe Biden and very helpful to President Trump in the middle of an election? The sparse details provided, the fact that the information focused on
2024,
perspectives
right,
of
at
a
the
previous
end.
Ukrainian government, they said, well, we got Zelensky now. We don't have them. It's
Well,
old.
I mean, I'm
It's
pretty
just,
sure
nobody
he
wants
kind
to
of
read this.
botched
It's like,
that
it's
whole
so
thing when he was all
2015.
like,
who cares?
"Oh
so
yeah,
they just
it's okay
justified
for
burying
Putin
it,
to
okay?
do
But
a
everybody else
little
agreed, no, we should have
small."
released this. It meets the threshold. We
what
should
did he-
have told
what was
everybody
the
about it
quote
when we
he
got it.
used?
It's
Oh my
Coverup. Who is
God,
this?
that
Who
was
wrote
fucking
this? And who did that?
hilarious.
All redacted, more redacted. Fast forwarding. As mentioned, along with the reviewer's comments recorded at the top of the draft, the comments and Clinton correspondence following the below double dash line are what had been included in the shell at the time of collection in 2016 and prior to this draft being found in late 2024. To our knowledge, no further context on the matter is known or available. So they just said, okay, so we got this report that the Ukrainians say that Joe Biden is corrupt.
Yeah, it was
He
the
just
minor
left. They say it's hilarious,
incursion
he's corrupt.
talk,
And
yeah.
it's valid. So they're writing a report. It should be dispersed.
Yeah,
so what happened? Why wasn't it dispersed?
Yeah,
Well,
it's
here you
okay
go.
for a
Wednesday,
minor
February
incursion.
10th, 2016, email, 10:18 a.m. from the Director of National Intelligence to somebody at the CIA, copying somebody else from the CIA. Director of National Intelligence, of course, appointed by the Democrats. In this case, 2016 February might have been Avril Haines, if I'm throwing a name out there. So she is representing Obama and VP Biden. And so somebody from her office sends an email February 10th to the CIA. This person says it's a PDB briefer. So Presidential Daily Briefer, writing from the DNI.
Oh yeah, by the way,
who's
this is
preparing
all
these
about
reports,
money.
Says, hey, good morning. I just spoke with
war
VP,
makes a lot of
that's
good
Joe
money,
Biden,
yeah.
and the National Security Advisor, and he would strongly prefer the report not be disseminated. Thanks for understanding. Signed, this dude, whoever that is, the
Right,
briefer. Bury the story.
all
Don't
this
let it out.
redacted
And guess
shit,
who
it's
wanted
because
it
of
buried?
money.
The VP, Joe Biden,
and it
the
would just
CIA,
hurt the,
Biden. Okay, so they covered it up. They got an email
there's a lot
from
of
the White House
fucking
from the Director of
high,
National Intelligence. and
I
they
guess
said,
a
no
bunch
problem.
of
So they just
officials,
attached
like
that
top
email
officials
into the report, closed the case, never
who were
shared it with
fucking
anybody,
doing
didn't
some
go to
weird
Obama,
shit.
didn't go to anybody.
Like,
Biden
doing,
took
like,
his failing
hooker and
grade
blow, I guess,
that he had to
all
show
over
his
the world.
parents off the stack. Didn't show them. Nobody could see. They never knew. Think their son's doing great. They're not. It's Joe Biden. So pretty interesting that we're starting to see these things. Obviously, it's just corrupt as hell. And this just goes on and on. I mean, the FBI covered up for Hillary Clinton. They covered up for everybody. For John Brennan, for James Clapper, for James Comey. And the list goes on and on.
Yeah,
and
that's
on.
why I don't
Oversight
trust the
responded to this.
CIA
They said,
or
this
FBI,
declassified
because
report
even
released
they're
by John Ratcliffe backs
just
up
as
our
shady.
investigation that they've been working on
Right,
for
why
a
are
long
you
time
guys
into the
hiding-
Biden family's
right,
corrupt
why are you guys
foreign
hiding
business
just
deals,
the-
saying
just
Joe Biden
the-
ordered it buried. He would
just the
strongly prefer the report not be disseminated. And guess
blatant,
what happened in his
fucked up
final weeks?
bullshit
Steve
is
Harding,
going on.
Hunty, Feb 2016, it was Clapper. Now,
Yeah.
Pam was asked about
Oh,
this
that's
by
right.
pencil neck
You guys are shady as
Adam
fuck, just
Shifty
like
Schiff
them.
in the
That's
Judiciary
why you all need
Committee
to get
hearing
fucking
today. And
hung.
here is what Pam said right to his face.
Was no case. And Caroline Levitt is one of the most trustworthy human beings I
Shout out.
know.
So
And,
was she?
Senator Schiff,
Was she
if
right?
you worked for me,
Was
you
she-
would have been fired.
Excuse
If you
me.
were censured
No,
by Congress for lying with your
we can
egregious
stipulate all your personal attacks on the Democratic members of the committee.
personal attacks. You've been
So-
attacking
so-
my FBI director. You've been attacking my office. You've been
But
attacking.
we're interested in.
borders
What we're
are.
interested in is the answer to these oversight questions.
What your
So you were
oversight
asked
is
by
because
my
you're
colleague. You were asked by my colleague.
attacking good people.
Regular order, Madam Chair, so I can ask a question.
It's
Calm
Shifty
down.
You were asked by my
Shiv.
colleague
There's
from
another
Vermont
person who
whether
needs
you
to
will
get
support
hung.
providing
Isn't he
a
into
video
some
or audio
shit?
tape if
Doesn't he
exists.
have
Mr.
some
Holman
shit on him
taking
too?
50,000
Wasn't he
in
into some
bribe
kind
money
of
from the
lawsuit as
FBI.
well?
Will you support a request by this committee to provide that tape or tapes to the committee? Yes or no?
Senator Schiff, you can talk to Director Patel about that.
Well, I'm talking to you about it. You're the Attorney General. This will be your decision. Will you
You don't
support?
have to tell me what is my decision
Well,
and what is
then-
not my
then-
decision.
then-
I
and you-
said
and
you
you
can
don't
talk
have
to
to-
Director
you don't
Patel.
have to try to-
You think
you
you've
don't
got a
have to-
gotcha with Tom Home and our borders are.
Excuse me. You
Who's
don't-
been out there
Excuse me.
fighting for our country
Madam
since
Chair,
Donald Trump took office.
I'm trying to ask a question. Regular order, please. And you don't have to defer to the FBI director to pass the buck. So I'm asking you, will you support a request so that the committee, or indeed, I believe the American people should be able to see that video or audio tape? Will you support that request?
Will you apologize to Donald Trump
So
for
I
trying
guess,
to
I
impeach
guess the
him
answer is you won't support that
after
request.
you now know that
So
Joe
let
Biden
me-
tried
let
to
me
cover up
do
Hunter
this.
Biden's involvement with
Excuse me.
Ukraine?
Yeah,
Let me-
pencil.
let me-
Well done, Pam. Don't answer their
Oh
stupid
yeah,
loaded
he's the one
questions.
who.
If they're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
ask
right. He was the
stupid
one who
loaded
was leaking
questions, just shove their own
information.
misconduct back in their faces.
Yeah, they still
and
haven't-
Pencil was complicit.
Yeah, we don't know
in
if they're gonna
all of
actually
round one
try him on
conspiracies
that.
against President Trump and help to facilitate
I
a
don't
lot
know
of the
if anything's gonna
criminality
be
that
done
went
on
down
that
on
one.
this. And his name wasn't a part of the spying operation. Isn't that interesting? They weren't spying on Pencil Neck. How come?
I mean, they. Right, it's because it's a whistleblower. It's kind of a whistleblower case, so. Yeah, we don't know if anything's gonna come out of that one. What's this one?
Well, we've got some breaking, exciting news. Apparently, someone who appears to be oriented to the left, anti-SCOTUS,
No, sorry. Let's restart
well, we've got
that.
some breaking, exciting news. Apparently, someone who appears to be oriented to the left, anti-SCOTUS, anti-Jewish, anti-Catholic, anti-ICE, just took 200
Sorry,
bombs
I had to
to the
restart
steps
that
of
because
a
of
church
that.
where the SCOTUS was supposed to be. Yeah, this is going to be a thing. Everything's going to be linked in the description box below. I always bring the receipts, of course. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification
Don't
bell
worry,
on.
I
Guys,
trust you.
the more they do this, the more you win. Understand, the more crazy is shown.
At least
the
you're
more
not like
people go
some
away from
other
the crazy.
fucking
It's
content
not
creators
difficult.
who fucking...
But that's why the premise on these last videos for the last little while has been we're going to win and save our country is because the level of crazy that you're seeing is off the charts. All right, so in the wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination, the ICE assassination attempt that killed multiple people, the assailing of protest or ICE agents in different liberal cities, now we've got this. Man with 200 explosives and leftist manifesto arrived outside Supreme Court event at a church, say the police.
Yeah,
And
there's
I've got
more.
all of it for you right here.
Hey, where's...
So let me just
Yo.
bring you in real quick. If we're now escalating to the point where
Democrats,
we've got people who
socialists,
openly say
where
they
you
are
at?
anti-ICE, anti-SCOTUS, which is a conservative SCOTUS, anti-Catholic, and anti-Jewish, how are things going? You also have an attorney general from Virginia that literally wishes the death on children
your
of Republicans.
homies went off the rails,
How
I
many
guess.
more things do we have to see that goes, there might be a problem on that old left? Anyway, let's keep on going. Let me hear you in the comments on this one. I've got all of it for you. Oh, that's a doubled up.
They're probably going to let this
So
guy
this right
off
here
just like the Kavanaugh
is
guy.
the actual Fox News little video.
I'm
or
trans
segment
now.
on the
Can you
concept.
let
And then
me
I've
off
also got,
easy?
on
Oh,
the story,
yeah,
and
sure.
I've also got
We'll
something on the
just
hill, so I'll
slap
give you
that
both
wrist.
sides.
It's fine.
But look at what Fox News just reported this morning. This was an hour ago or 4 hours ago.
Well, we are learning more about the suspect that was arrested outside a D.C. cathedral ahead of a mass marking the start of the Supreme Court's new term.
Police are revealing he had a massive supply of homemade explosives.
Bizarre guy Griff Jenkins joins us live outside Washington with the details. Hey, Griff.
Yeah, good morning, Brian, Ainsley, and Lawrence. What's really frightening about this is that Supreme Court justices were expected to attend this annual Red Mass, which marked the start of a new Supreme Court term.
Yeah, okay, I saw this. I was wondering what
South
this was.
Jersey man named Louis Jerry arrested on the cathedral's steps with more than 200 homemade explosives. They included Molotov cocktails and vials containing nitromethane, a compound
Oh,
used
wow,
in Oklahoma
man,
City
they went
bombing.
all
Now,
out.
court documents
Holy shit.
show that Jerry threatened
Man, they're
to
gonna
detonate
go.
the devices
They're
and
gonna
handed
go ham.
officers writings
Holy shit!
expressing anger
I wonder how
towards the
they were
Catholic
able to
Church,
just get
the
all
Supreme
that
Court
stuff.
Justices, members
to
of the
get-
Jewish
That's
faith,
so dangerous.
and get this, ICE, when officers told them.
How did they get all that stuff together?
Well, I am
What the
personally
fuck?
shocked. I can't imagine what would get someone to the point where they would say, you know what, I'm going to take 200 bombs that I've made from my own homemade devices,
Yeah,
set
I
it
was
on
like,
the
what the
steps of a
fuck?
church where the SCOTUS is going to be, blessing in the tradition of the new SCOTUS term, which is starting, which is setting up to be very anti-left. And then we go after the Jews, the Catholics, and the ICE. I wonder where that could be.
Yeah, I
linked
wonder
to.
if he had any help from
The guy's own
retarded
manifesto
Democrats.
Says it. Okay, I'm not making this stuff up. I've got multiple.
I mean,
different
they've been
sources
doing
that
a
I'm about
lot
to
of
show
call
you.
to
This is not
violence and
just
dog
me.
whistling for a while. So I mean,
But here's the thing, and this is the underlying principle that you guys have to understand. The more far left crazy that they exhibit, the more it's going to hurt them politically. I've said this for a week and a half to 2 weeks now. Just like in the 1960s when the hippies were losing political sway and political power, they turned to extreme violence and bombings, and I told you we were going down the road
That's
of hippies
true.
2.0.
Wasn't that? Didn't the Black Panthers
This
do
is
that
what's
too?
happening. You are watching the death throes of the
even
left.
they were
They are
fucking
becoming
got
more and more
violent. Right?
violent.
All
They are
of these
becoming
people
more
get
and more
violent.
aggressive, and they're becoming more and more in your face because they are actively losing power, the thing they hold the most dear. Guys, you have to understand. In this SCOTUS, come here.
Yeah, I guess.
In
I
this
guess
SCOTUS
when they're
term session,
when they
next
feel
week, you're gonna
pushed
hear a case
into a
about
corner, that's
districting
when they get
votes
fucking
and districting
real
congressional
violent,
hearings,
right?
or congressional districts, all around race only. It can go any way, shape, or form as long as you've got race in it. They're expecting that's going to get smacked around. Well, if that gets smacked around, that's about 19 seats in the House. I don't know. Why do you think they'd be reacting really, really poorly? They've got ICE, they've got Jews, Catholics, and SCOTUS.
Oh,
I don't know,
no.
guys. These guys do not seem like really great people to be hanging around. But anyway, they're going to keep on doing it, and we're going to keep on reporting it, and we are going to win, because not only that, we also have the most conservative generation coming behind us. We also have the best polling. We also have the entire population. The Democrats have been co-opted by the violent far left, and they are being relegated to the dustbin of history. You literally have current and future. Let's freaking go. All right, here's the hill, the other side. I will always try my very hardest to be equal and appropriately sourced. The Hill. Man arrested outside.
Basically,
mass
The Hill
marking
is
start
a
of
more
Supreme
left-leaning,
Court had 200 explosive
right
devices.
news publication.
There's more confirmation, as you can see. This dropped yesterday evening. A man arrested outside the annual Red Mass ceremony held at St. Matthew's Cathedral had over 200 explosive devices in a tent on the church's stairs, according to police. Louis Jerry, there's that same name, 41, touted homemade explosives when the officers approached him on the steps ahead of the service typically attended by Supreme Court justices to ring in a new term. Guys, you're looking at the falling apart and the last death throes of a far left that is losing their power. You see it in the riots, you see it in the protests, you see it in the anti-ICE, you see it in the politicians, you see it in the emotional invoking rhetoric.
Yeah, you
That's
see
what
it
you
even
are seeing. This
in the
is not
streamers
anything other than
who
desperation.
content
You see it in the
creators
shutdown
too.
that's going on.
You
All
talk
of
about
it
some of this
is
shit.
based around position of desperation and
Just as fucking
and
crazy.
lashing out. It's not based upon rationality and strength. It's based upon weakness.
It's just they
That's
don't
the entire
they don't
point of what I've been trying
right
to
they don't
deliver in these
enact on
videos.
their
Let me know and
impulses.
hear you in the comments.
Right?
Let me see some planes
They
in
just
the
hide
chat.
behind
But
their fucking
legitimately,
computer and in their house.
That's what's happening. Let me go back to the Fox News
Speaking
article.
all sorts of
Watch- or
shit.
Segment. Watch this.
And they were going to forcibly remove him. The court documents also say that he responded by telling cops several of your people are going to die from one of these. Now, D.C. police said in a statement, during the arrest, officers observed multiple suspicious items, including vials of liquid and possible fireworks inside of the suspect's tent. The suspect is preliminarily charged with unlawful entry, threats to kidnap or injure a person, in possession of a Molotov cocktail. The investigation is ongoing. Reports say that that security threat actually prevented the justices from attending, and now that suspect, Louis Jerry, is being held without bond, facing multiple charges, including possession of a weapon of mass destruction in furtherance of a hate crime. Guys?
All right, so now a little clarifying thing that they didn't say correctly there. He is not being held with a weapon of mass destruction. That is not correct. And I mean, it shows you right here at the end of this Hill article. I could find it, but it doesn't matter. The whole point is it's not a weapon of mass destruction. Here we go, right here. Jerry has been charged with possession of a destructive device and false report of a weapon of mass destruction. So there wasn't a weapon of mass destruction there. He literally just said he had one. That's the idea. Okay, but let's go back to this. You have to understand, when I'm showing you everything that we're seeing, this is where the guy was hanging out right there on a tent on the steps of this church where the SCOTUS members were going to go while he had writings and declarations against ICE,
Joe
against
Schmo on the
Catholics,
fucking
against
side of the
SCOTUS,
street
and
was
against
able to
Jews.
obtain a bunch of uranium
The
and build
far
like a
left
nuke and
has
shit.
its fingerprints all over all those ideologies. And the SCOTUS is conservative, so of course they're going to go after that too.
Yeah,
just like they saw the
he
same
was
thing with
able
Brett Kavanaugh.
to build a nuke
Just like they
with
saw the
all
same
the
thing with the
money
ICE
that
attacks.
he
Just like
had,
the Charlie
so.
Kirk assassination. All of these things are the far left losing power and unraveling. Let's keep on going. I got one more thing I want to show you. I kind of just did this, but let them recap this really quickly.
Right,
Where'd it
there's
go?
only a
Set
handful
up
of
on the
people who can
stairs.
actually have enough
That's where they
money to
found
actually build a
200
fucking nuke, to
incendiary
be honest.
devices, grenades and bottle rockets, Molotov cocktails. He expressed hostility and disdain for the Supreme Court and for ICE and for the Catholic Church and for Jewish people.
So he told the people around him, he goes, hey, you might want to get out of here. I have explosives.
All right, you guys get the idea. So come here. Let's coalesce around this point. What you're watching, and everyone in the nation is watching, is why it's important to send this stuff out. You have to understand, you are looking at the far left throes of a death of an ideology. The shift is happening so overt and so fast that they can't handle it, and they're reacting very violently. It's going to continue happening
I mean,
until
yeah.
they
They're
until the
pushing
Democrat
lawlessness.
Party
They're
divorces from
pushing
them. The second that
defund the
happens,
police.
everything changes.
They're telling you to just roll
But
over
that's
and
what you got right
die
now.
and let them fucking
You got 200
stab you and
bombs
shit.
on the
It's like,
steps of a church targeting SCOTUS, Jews, Catholics, and
oh,
ICE.
these people are crazy.
I don't know. You tell me. Everything will be linked in the description box below. Let me know what you think. See you later.
Well, there you have it. That was Langley Outdoors Academy, if you want to check them out. And yeah, go check out Robert Govea as well, Esquire, I believe it was. Trump signs a $6.1 billion Arctic icebreaker deal with Finland. Uh-oh, there's the deal. There's the deal. U.S. Coast Guard to acquire 11 Arctic security cutters, with 4 built in Finland and 7 in U.S. shipyards in Texas and Louisiana, costing $6.1 billion. First delivery expected by 2028. You know why they're going to get these icebreakers? Because they want to go into Alaska. They want to go into Alaska and drill, baby, drill. That's why. Anyways, because they don't have the... Well, I mean, they have some, but just not all the resources to fucking get in there properly. Anyways. Why it matters. Deal strengthens U.S. Arctic security against Russia and China while creating thousands of jobs, expanding U.S. Coast Guard fleet from current to operational icebreakers to meet strategic needs. Common ground, strategic necessity. Sources widely acknowledge this deal as crucial for countering Russia and Chinese influence in the Arctic, correct? Reflecting shared concerns about geopolitical competition in the region. Well, they're trying to... It's a fight for resources. That's why they're getting the icebreaker. Well, everyone else is having issues in the Russian war, right? In the Ukraine-Russian war. Right, well, while their attention is somewhere else, U.S. is gonna come into the Arctic and try and take that shit. Bilateral benefits. Multiple outlets emphasize the mutual advantages, with Finland's expertise being recognized, and the U.S. gaining critical Arctic capabilities while creating jobs in both nations. Trump's personal role reports consistently highlight Trump's instrumental role in facilitating the deal, particularly through his personal relationship with President Stubb, developed through meeting at Mar-a-Lago. And then you have the protectionists and the partnership advocates. Finland's proven icebreaker expertise and 80% global market share make foreign construction a strategic necessity for rapid Arctic capability development. American shipyards should build all vessels to protect domestic jobs and maintain industrial security, regardless of timeline delay. So the America First wants the productions to happen. Immediate Arctic security. Well, hold on. Icebreaker collaboration is based on the goal of strengthening development and security in the Arctic. Well, I mean, it's because the Finnish president wants some of those resources too. That's why. There's probably some kind of deal where the U.S. is trying to if we get help from Finland, basically they would want a piece of the pie. Yes. Immediate Arctic security threats from Russia and China require leveraging Finland's expertise to quickly expand from 2 to 13 operational icebreakers. Long-term American industrial capacity building should take precedence over short-term geopolitical concerns in the Arctic region. I mean, I understand like what they're saying for the American first, right, policies and stuff, but it's like at the same time, it would be better to have, right, two heads than one. Also, more hands, yes, to just quickly get shit done faster. So, I mean, I understand you want I understand the long process, but at the same time, don't you want to get shit done fast? Especially when you're already in a race, literally. I think that this whole aspect removes the whole issue that there's an actual fucking race going on, by the way. Like nobody wants to fucking talk about it, but yes, there are different. There's a technological race going on, right? There's an ideology race going on. All right. Who's gonna be the dominant, right, ideology on top? Who's gonna be the technological superpower on top? Right? Who's gonna be the fucking right? Who's gonna be the world power on top? Do you see where I'm going with this? There's always competition. Right? And if that competition means that you have to get hung, hey, then so be it. The agreement creates American jobs in Texas and Louisiana shipyards, while accessing world-class Finnish technology for mutual economic benefit. Billions in taxpayer dollars should generate maximum domestic employment and industrial investment rather than subsidizing foreign competitors. How about you guys come down the middle and do a little bit of both? Right? I mean, is that so hard? I don't know. But, you know, that's just me. But, you know, what do I know? I'm a 30-year-old fucking retarded kid who doesn't know anything, right? What do we got here? Uh, 29-year-old woman arrested for punching 7-year-old in Knoxville Kroger parking lot. Yeah, apparently this happened. This crazy bitch. So here in Knoxville, Tennessee, a 29-year-old woman, for whatever reason, decided to punch a little kid. Don't know why. Lauren Whaley, arrested on Friday evening after witnessing reporters seeing her punch a 7-year-old child in the face. What shit? What the fuck? South Knoxville Kroger parking lot authorities said, man, that fucking corporal punishment, I guess. Jesus. Incident details. Police were called around 7 p.m. to the Kroger on Chapman Highway near West Young High Pike after reports that Whaley had assaulted the child. According to the arrest warrant, a witness said Whaley dragged the child by the arm into a white car in the parking lot and hit the child twice in the face with a closed fist. Voila! What? Just fucking haymakers, man. My goodness. A second witness corroborated the account. The child initially told police he had a nosebleed, but later pointed to the right side of his face, indicating where he had been struck. Officers observed redness on the child's face and dried blood on his shorts and legs. When contacted, Whaley was sitting in the driver's seat of the car Washing her hands with a water bottle. She did not provide an explanation for the incident. She was washing the blood off her. Because she's a fucking bitch. Anyways. Whaley was booked into the Knoxville County Jail on Saturday afternoon and is charged with felony child abuse. She is due in court Monday morning as reported by WLTX. It is currently unclear what relation she had to the child. Safety and awareness. Authorities emphasize the importance of reporting child abuse immediately if witnessed, protecting children, and ensuring they are released to a trusted caregiver, monitoring the injuries or signs of abuse, and alerting law enforcement. You know the crazy thing? You know, back in like the 1600s, 1800s, none of this shit really fucking happened. There's no fucking... There's none of this shit, by the way. But now there is. Now there's a bunch of laws protecting kids, yes? Share your thoughts. Do you think more should be done to prevent incidents like this in public spaces in Knoxville? What do we mean? You got what? You got her, didn't she? But she assaulted the child. Obviously, put her in fucking jail. What? Like, why would you fuck up a child like that? Now, if the child was trying to, like, stab you or something, like, the child had a knife in its hand, and he was trying to, ring, right? It's like, okay, just maybe, okay, but no, that didn't happen, did it? They used snatch ballots from mailbox in La Habra.
Now at 5:30, early voting ballots
fuck.
snatched from a mailbox
I forgot the
outside
links.
a home in La Habra Heights.
No.
The thief caught on surveillance.
I've been forgetting
video.
all the
Good evening.
links.
This is
God
the
damn it.
KTLA 5 News at 5:30. I'm Cher Calvin.
Anna Micah Ullman, residents expressing
not
concern
caring
tonight
about
as
shit
mail
or
theft
something.
continues to be a problem throughout the
Well,
region.
I've been tired, so
KTLA's
it's
Chris
like,
Wolf
I
is
don't
live
really
in La
fucking care
Habra with
right
the
now.
latest. Chris.
Yeah, good evening. Cher and Micah, mail theft is becoming a major concern.
I mean, honestly, you can look up, right? You can easily
Some of
look
the
up all
victims
this
I
stuff that I've
spoke with
been
today
searching
are
on or
frustrated,
looking at.
believing that their
I mean,
cries
it's all
for
on the
help
news. I mean, it's all on
are
the internet.
simply
Easy to
not
search.
being heard. Caron Caldwell of La Habra Heights in southeastern Los Angeles County treasures her animals and her right to vote. As a concerned citizen, she filled out her ballot for the upcoming special election regarding congressional redistricting in California. She says it was placed in her mailbox Monday night and it was picked up early Tuesday morning, not by a United States Postal Service mail carrier, but a crook. Surveillance cameras captured a white BMW pulling up to Caldwell's mailbox close to 7 a.m. A tattooed arm reached in and snatched the
Yoink.
contents while a female passenger sat quietly. Then the driver pulled away and
Yikes.
disappeared down Winding Canyon Court.
Yeah,
into the
also, we
morning.
can see your license plate there.
Caldwell plastered her story on social media and quickly.
Yeah, you know that they could see your fucking license plate, and they could just, hey, DMV. Fucking retard. Anyway.
He called the LA County Sheriff's
I
Department.
mean, maybe
which
it's a
serves
stolen
the
car,
area.
but
They said no.
even
and
then,
they just
it's
said,
like,
you know,
yo.
you can contact the post office. There's a special investigation team there. So I tried them. I gave them the basic information, but they didn't even want to see my video. It seems like it should be, you know, a fairly easy case to investigate.
Whether the thieves were hoping for monetary gain by stealing some kind of check or trying to interfere with a special election is anyone's guess. More likely, they didn't even know what they were grabbing. But if these people were indeed stealing the mail, a crime was
Well, I mean,
committed.
it's, yeah, you're not.
People like Caron Caldwell.
Yeah, basically, you're not. If you're not the occupants of the home and you start stealing mail like that, that's like a federal crime almost.
just want help from the proper authorities.
I think that they just don't care, or they don't have the resources or something. But you come up with a law,
But
and
no,
then
they
you
don't care.
enforce it.
I mean,
Other
law
victims
enforcement don't
tell
care anymore.
KTLA they believe
Especially
a pair
with
of
what's been
criminals
happening
is
around
operating throughout the San Fernando Valley,
with all the
using
fucking
master
protests
keys
and
to
bullshit
gain
like
access
that.
to apartment building mailboxes, opening all of them at once for quick, easy access to the
Yeah,
contents.
it's too much money to
How
catch
is this
these
happening?
perpetrators.
The victims
Yeah.
wonder.
Right, everyone's broke in California.
A U.S.
There's a
postal
deficit,
inspector
remember?
for Los
We're broke in
Angeles
California.
County
There's
tells
nothing,
us, quote,
sorry.
please be assured that
can't help
all
you.
reports of mail theft are taken seriously, as mail theft is a federal crime. If you are a victim, you can call the U.S. Postal Inspection Service or file a report online, and always share critical evidence such as surveillance footage. Reporting live in La Habra, I'm Chris Wolf, KTLA 5 News.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, that was the KTLA 5. News. What do we got here? Man killed over lawn clippings.
Urgent 911 calls in the middle of the morning had Dayton officers rushing to this street. They discovered a man badly injured after he was shot.
In the street, he had a gun in his hand, and then I hear 2 shots.
Officers began life-saving techniques on the individual who had been shot.
Medics transported the victim to a local hospital, but they later succumbed to their injuries.
A 22-year-old landscaper was hard at work and was shot and killed. Surely there must be a reason for this.
Police said witnesses told them appeared the gunman was upset.
Reason for this.
Police said
work and was shot and killed. Surely there must be a reason for this.
Police said witnesses told them it appeared the gunman was upset when workers blew the sidewalk clear of debris and some of it hit his car. He confronted at least one worker, and that escalated very quickly into the fatal shots being fired.
Do you know how this started? Do you know who was shot?
Yeah, it was an argument over grass clippings on a car.
We were in court as Travis Jackson faced a judge.
So an
right
unhinged
after
individual
plea for him, the court gave Jackson
decides
a
to
seven-figure
kill
bond.
someone over his getting some car
So
brushings.
this guy killed someone over grass on his car.
Yeah.
Great display of self-control. You know what
Correct.
could have solved this problem? A hose and 2 minutes of time. But he's going with self-defense, which at first glance doesn't exactly pass.
Yeah, it doesn't
the
really.
test.
Yeah, it doesn't
But
make
let's
sense.
look at his claims.
A defense lawyer told us his murder suspect acted in self-defense.
The defense says the suspect was assaulted to the point of nearly losing consciousness and fired to defend himself.
So a guy who was on the clock working assaulted somebody, putting his entire job and future at risk?
Correct.
It's possible, but it doesn't seem likely.
We believe this is a case of self-defense. They use the term argument about certain things, but the reality was it was a conversation, and he requested they to do something, and then next thing you know, he's being assaulted by an individual who he had no beef with at all.
He had no beef with. We've established pretty firmly that he was upset about grass clippings on his car, regardless if it was self-defense or not. So there was beef, it would seem.
Where he was being victimized, and he responded in self-defense. And we believe that the evidence is going to show that in the future.
Gotta
I'd love
love
to
lawyers
know how he was
sweeping.
being victimized. Was he being
the
attacked with a
sweepers.
weed whacker? Why don't you be specific if you have this evidence? A lot of people have front door cameras, so yeah, I'd imagine there's a good chance this will be cleared up pretty quickly.
Jackson's lawyer also told me today that Jackson rendered aid to Staggs and called 911.
He rendered aid and called 911.
That's a
Witnesses said he walked right back into the house.
He just turned around and walked in the house like, oh, what the I just do? Like he was in shock, like he was in disbelief that he did that.
The suspected gunman had walked back into his own home.
And then I saw, like, I don't know, about 15 officers break down his door and go in his house.
So far, the 911 call
Yeah, I gotta love
dispatchers
people
produced
lying.
in response to our public records
Gotta
request
love people
did not
lying.
come from Jackson.
The plane is crashing before it even leaves the airport. Nonetheless, this guy will have
I
his
bet they
chance
were
to
paid
prove
off to
his
be like, hey, just say you didn't see anything. Say he just he helped and rendered aid. Fucking losers. See, this is why I don't trust fucking people.
Federal prosecutors have arrested a former Pacific Palisades resident for allegedly sparking one of the most
destructive wildfires in LA's history, killing 12 and causing more than $150 billion worth of damage. 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht,
Oh, remember how people were all like, "Oh no, their Palisades fire just happened." Oh yeah.
On October 8th.
So there was a
He's charged
fucking
with
arsonist.
maliciously setting a fire that killed residents and destroyed more than 6,000 homes in Pacific Palisades.
Honestly, I think there was more
Investigators say
people
it
who
all
were
began
causing
just after
problems
midnight
too,
on New
not
Year's
just
Day,
this guy.
2025. That night, Rinderknecht was working as an Uber driver and appeared to be agitated and angry, according to witnesses. After dropping off a passenger in Pacific Palisades, he drove towards Skull Rock Trailhead, parked his car, and began walking on a trail after trying to contact a former friend. Once on the trail, Rinderknecht allegedly filmed the area on his phone and listened to a rap song by the French artist Jossman, whose music video shows things being set on fire, according to the criminal complaint. The suspect had watched the same music video repeatedly in the days leading up to the fire, according to court papers. Minutes later,
Well, I mean,
sensors
obviously
detected
that doesn't
flames, which would
really
be the start of the Lockman fire.
No, it
Firefighters
just tells
quickly
him
contained it,
he's an
but the blaze
interesting
smoldered
individual.
underground for days. It wasn't until January 7th, almost a week later, that heavy winds caused the underground fire to spread above ground, leading to what
Oh yeah,
ultimately
you
would
see,
become
yeah, the winds
the
really
catastrophic
fucked that
Palisades
shit up.
fire. During the 5 minutes after lighting the fire, Rinderknecht called 911 several times,
Gotta
but
love
wasn't able to
oxygen,
get through
yeah.
because he was out of cell phone range. He eventually was able to get through to authorities and report the fire after driving to the bottom of the hill. As he was on the phone to dispatchers, he asked ChatGPT, "Are you at fault if a fire is lit because of your cigarettes?"
What?
Rinderknecht initially fled the scene of the crime in his car.
No,
but later
did he
decided to return
really?
to film firefighters battling the flames. The
Did he
videos were
really
among a trove of
did you
evidence
really
discovered on
type
his
that
phone
in?
the aftermath,
Oh,
authorities
jeez.
said. Months before the blaze in July, Rinderknecht had ChatGPT generate
Yeah,
a grim,
probably not a good
dystopian
idea
image
to
of a
type that
burning
in.
city. In the ChatGPT
Right after
prompt, he
it
requested
happened.
a dystopian painting divided into distinct parts that blend together seamlessly.
Oh,
On the far
shit,
left,
man.
there is a burning forest.
Yes.
Next to it, a crowd of people running away from
Basically,
the fire,
your
leading to
text
the middle.
messages and timing
said.
and radio
Rinderknecht
phone
allegedly
signal.
lied
Yeah,
about
you're
being at the
fucked.
bottom of the trail, but later described the fire's
Don't
origin
do
in
that,
detail.
man. Right, if
Information
the
only
government
someone
so
who witnessed
chose
it
to
would
use
know,
resources
according
to
the
get
complaint.
certain
He was finally
information,
arrested in
they
Florida
will
on
do
Tuesday,
it.
and will now be transferred
Fuck
back
it.
to California to stand trial. If convicted, Rinderknecht faces 5 to 20 years in federal prison. This arrest marks a long-awaited step towards justice for those who lost lives, homes, and belongings in the Palisades fire.
Honestly, I don't think he's the only one, because there was also some people who were causing some other fires in other places too, purposefully. So I was like, "Where's those guys?" Right? Anyways, what do we got here? The dumbest ever reason for killing someone. Oh
The
no.
Dallas PD just reported another deadly shooting near Fair Park.
Residents are demanding answers after an especially violent 48 hours. Between Friday night and Sunday night,
Oh,
there
wow.
were at least 11 shootings or stabbings
Oh, shit.
in both Dallas and Fort Worth alone.
Texas, are you guys okay over there? What the heck is going on?
Sure.
It
yeah.
just kept happening.
Well, I mean, there's
From
open
Fort
carry.
Worth to Dallas, Friday to Sunday, in a gas station, in a nightclub, on a train.
Oh,
10
damn.
violent deaths, including a yet-to-be-born baby, killed when the mother was stabbed on this street in Dallas.
Oh shit! What?
What is
What
going
the
on
fuck?
in Texas? Do we need to send the National Guard over there?
Oh, what the fuck is
Let's say to
happening?
even be out, anything, could happen to you. Nah, it's making me scared to even bring my dog up here because they may shoot me.
Well, one of these killings caught my attention for the preposterous reason it happened.
A woman was shot here this afternoon around 1 p.m. and then later died at the hospital.
And why did this happen?
At a
Cecilia
fucking
Simpson
pet store?
held the door for Kiana Hampton. Hampton did not say thank you, which Simpson wasn't very pleased by. From
Oh,
there,
no.
Hampton went ballistic. The two started fighting,
Oh,
and
my-
Hampton decided to kill Simpson. This really all happened over a thank you for a
Do you know what this reminds me of? You know the Boondocks? The certain moments? Yeah, those moments. Yeah.
A door being held open. Of course, Hampton is seemingly
Jesus.
going with a self-defense angle.
Impulse
According to the affidavit,
control.
Hampton told
Just
officers that
none
she was just trying to
whatsoever.
get Simpson away from her when she took out her gun and fired those shots.
But everything we've
Oh,
heard
and she
would
had a
seem to
firearm
suggest
and just
that
started
is simply
blasting.
not the
Wow,
case.
that's
22-year-old
Man.
Kiana Hampton followed Simpson
Man.
and her daughter into the PetSmart. Employees there asked them to leave.
The screaming first caught my attention. The lady who was the shooter was still instigating, I guess, an argument or a fight or something. But the mom and daughter tried to get in their car and de-escalate the situation. But the lady wasn't having it. The shooter was telling them, come outside, let's handle it outside, let's fight outside. And the mom and the daughter were kind of just telling her to
Antagonizing,
go away.
yeah.
According to the affidavit, Hampton then threw a drink bottle towards Simpson and a witness, and it was at that point that everything became physical. The witness steps away, according to the affidavit, and then Hampton pulls out a gun and fired 3 shots.
Here's just some of the other violence that happened over that weekend of chaos.
What about the one with the stabbing of the
15-year-old
baby?
was
Like,
stabbed and killed during a fight outside Polytechnic High School. His father was also badly hurt trying to step in.
Early Sunday morning when one man was killed and 5 others were injured in a shooting at Social Live. It's a bar on Bledsoe
Wait,
Street
a
in the
kid
West 7th
died
District.
because
Police
his-
believe it was
wait,
gang
what?
related.
The worst of it on Bernal Street in West Dallas, where a father and his son were among 3 people found dead. Their family told us they believe the 2 were just trying to help after a crash when they were gunned down.
What the fuck? Well, there you go. People doing unhinged shit for some reason. Anyways, there you have it. And we got Myanmar. More shit happening. Again. So I'm guessing this is the after. As you can see, it doesn't sound good. This is where I guess the explosion took place. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on the floor there. Or it looks burned up, right? Singed. Dry right there. Oh, is this the impact? It might be the impact. Yeah, those are burned up. Alright, those caught fire and burnt up. There must have been a lot of shrapnel too if there was wood and wood and all that rocks. Yeah, look at that. All that debris that hit the house like that. Blew off the top of the house. Is this it? Yeah, that's pretty much it. We already saw this. MSNBC panel, Trump blames Trump for fire that destroyed judges. Beachfront. Wait, they're trying to blame Trump on this one? No way. Are you fucking serious? We don't even... They didn't even know...
Officials are investigating the cause of a massive fire that destroyed the home of a South Carolina judge who has reportedly faced death threats after a high-profile ruling against the Trump administration. The fire happened Saturday afternoon, about an hour south of Charleston. Flames engulfed the home owned by Circuit Court Judge Diane Goodstein, who, according to several reports, was out for a walk at the time. But the local NBC affiliate is reporting that 3 people were injured and hospitalized, including the judge's husband, former Democratic State Senator Arnold Goodstein. And with little details known at this time, law enforcement has been asked to provide extra security after the incident. It comes amid a surge in hostility and threats against judges, as well as criticism directly from the Trump administration, including for Judge Goodstein, after she temporarily blocked the Justice Department from accessing the files of millions of registered voters in South Carolina. Mary McCord is still with us. Mary, what questions do you have based on what we're hearing so far?
Rarely have I seen a house, just one house, in such flames.
So
like
3
that,
people were inside the
the
house,
remains.
and then
It's
it blew up, or it got caught on fire when she was out for a walk.
And could have been killed. And
So the only people who know how the fire started are those 3 people who are in the hospital.
It's looking like arson, but getting to that cause, and if it turns out that this was motivated because
They're
of a
saying this is
judicial
arson
ruling that
now.
went against the Trump administration.
They're jumping to
this will
conclusions
be
already.
Another escalation, of course, in what we're seeing when it comes to political violence. And I think it is bad always. It's bad.
Oh,
no
it's
matter
political
who it's directed
violence
to,
now somehow?
But when it is a judge,
that shit is hard. Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
You know, this is the kind, again, we've talked today already about crossing Rubicons, right? And when you're starting to attack judges because of their rulings, we're
by the
in a
way,
very,
they still
very
haven't talked to the
dangerous
3
position
witnesses.
in this country, and it makes judges fearful.
This is why I don't
It
take
makes
MSNBC
prosecutors fearful,
seriously.
As we know, it makes others in positions where they could be criticized by Donald Trump fearful. And he needs to know the power of his voice and how people respond to that. We've been saying this for years, Nicole, but like, if this is what this turns out to be, some sort of politically motivated act of domestic terrorism, then, you know, the importance and significance of the things that Donald Trump says about a person just, again, will be demonstrated in this instance.
Fuck are you talking about? Well, yeah, where the fuck are you looking, and where the fuck are you what the fuck are you talking about? Jesus. By the way, they still haven't she never once talked about the judge and what she said, or the 3 witnesses. Right? Just throwing fucking speculations and fucking assumptions out there. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, fucking weirdo? We got this one.
Things went really from 0 to 100 here as these protesters were marking 2 years since the war began. About an hour and a half in, police say things really took a turn. Now, they were gathered here on the Common, but ultimately started making their way to Tremont Street here by the Park Street T-stop. And when they sat in the middle of the road, police had to move in, and things really grew violent quickly. Protesters and police clashed here in the street. You can hear the chaos as those protesters were screaming. Officers trying to coordinate their response here. There's red smoke that police say was deployed by members of that group as officers pinned some of them to the ground and carried others away. Authorities say protesters kicked cruisers and assaulted officers here. It took police some time to get a handle on this. Backup came in from all directions as they started putting protesters in handcuffs. In all, 13 people were arrested here tonight. Their names, ages, and charges have not been announced, but they are expected in court tomorrow morning. 4 Boston police officers were hurt in this. 2 of them were taken to the hospital. Preliminary reports indicate that they have broken bones. Their injuries are said to be non-life-threatening.
Well, there you go. People fighting. What is this? Plastic surgeon's wife dies during husband's procedure. Whoa. Wait, is this the husband that operated on his own wife and then killed her? Wait, what? I'm sorry. There's this one. Wait, SD police officer stalked ex-husband and orders her to surrender? What the fuck? Oh, wait, is this case? Tufts students arrested at pro-Palestinian rally in Boston held on $10,000 bail. Oh, there you go. Hey, there's a Hassan. He should be in jail too, but I don't know why he isn't.
Tonight, we're uncovering disturbing new details about a mother accused of shooting her 4 children, killing 2 of them. This is 31-year-old Oninda Romulus, seen here in a 2022 mugshot from Georgia when she was arrested on drug charges. We're also learning Child Protective Services had previously been called to her home.
This? Oh, this was 3 days ago.
Details of that case remain unclear.
Troy Class has been following all of this since the
weekend.
This
was the mother that fucking...
Oh, yeah,
okay,
He's
it's
in
this
Angleton
one. Yeah,
for us tonight, Troy.
Okay, it's this
We've
one.
been working to learn more about Romulus, who is in jail, and any motive for the shooting. Meanwhile, in newly obtained court documents, we're learning about what Romulus told investigators after she was arrested, but a motive for the shooting is still unclear.
New details are beginning
Basically,
to
she was like
emerge
cracked
after 4
out or
children
something.
Were found shot in a car at an Angleton gas station. A 13-year-old boy and 3-year-old girl died. An 8-year-old boy and 9-year-old girl still recovering.
Brazoria County deputies responded to an unthinkable, unimaginable tragedy.
The kid's mom, 31-year-old Oninda Romulus, is now in custody, charged with murder, and according to charging documents, gave disturbing statements to the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office investigators who spoke with her after the shooting. Court documents obtained by KHOU 11 share Romulus told investigators her children were with the devil. According to the affidavit,
yes.
law enforcement says surveillance
she's a
video
crazy.
shows Romulus drove to this gas station off Highway 288 in Angleton, where she called 911. When asked during her interview why she called authorities, Romulus told investigators, quote, "Instead of them doing it to me, I'm going to do it to them," and continued saying, "Kill them all." Romulus lived at this home in Porter for just a few months with her 4 children, identified in court documents as Ocario Covington, Amora Chappelle, Kylie Romulus, and Traviel Downer. Neighbors telling our Orco Manna the children were happy and they saw them just a few days ago.
He always waves and we tell him hi, and they come back by, and I have a little Yorkie, and sometimes she'll stop and ask if she can pet the puppy. Just seeing them Friday, and they were happy and on their way, telling us hi and bye, and figuring I would see them again Monday.
The home is in the New Caney ISD. We reached out to the district asking if the kids attend school, and they replied stating while they're deeply saddened, out of respect for the investigation, the district wouldn't provide information about the individuals or their connection to our schools. Meanwhile, today, Romulus's dad told me on the phone from his home in Georgia he's trying to understand what happened.
Romulus is still being held on a $14 million bond. The surviving children are still recovering in the hospital. Troy Kless,
Basically,
KHOU
she flipped a
11
switch
News.
for some
Such
reason.
a tragic
and
case with so many questions.
buck
Troy
wild.
Kless, with what we do know tonight. Appreciate you.
She went old yeller for some
you can
reason.
Find the latest developments
don't know
on
why.
air, online, and on the KHOU 11
Just
mobile
went
app.
fucking like suicidal. Wait, what the fuck? Houston parents charged in death of 2-month-old boy. Okay, well. Relatives IDSF family found dead in home. Yikes. School shooter tells WPTV he hopes for second chance after prison release. Well, you're probably not going to be able to enter a school anymore, that's for sure. Random man linked to teens killed on camping trip. Jesus.
Now to a story where a 2-month-old child has died. A local man and woman are facing charges in the death of the 2-month-old, and it all happened in September of 2024. Leslie Delaspore spoke to the prosecutor in the case. Leslie, what did they have to say?
Yeah, Rashi, that's right. I was in court this morning, and the father is facing capital murder charges, and the mother is facing charges of injury to a child. But here's a quick recap of what happened in court. Now, 27-year-old Damari Alston came before a judge today alongside his attorney to discuss his bond and conditions. The prosecution went over the probable cause and read details about the case, such as the child's injuries, findings from a CPS investigation, questionable text messages between the parents, and deleted search history from the father's phone. Now, the judge set a bond at $2 million for the dad, and he was told he cannot have any contact with children, including his older child, who was a toddler. Now, as far as the mom, her bond was set at $250,000, and she did not make an appearance in the courtroom, but her attorney was present. And we did speak with the prosecutor after. Here's what she had to say.
There's already a CPS investigation going on originally where the child had been injured at 10 days old. And so then these injuries occurred when the baby was 2 months old. And so due to the fact that they weren't following court conditions that were already in place and his lack of ties to the community, we felt that the bond needed to be high. They were having unsupervised contact with the baby and not following the court conditions that had been in place previously. And then ultimately the baby was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced deceased. The bond of the father remained at $2 million, and then the mother's bond, Trinity Perez, is at $250,000. Obviously, they are also given, if they were to make bond, a long list of conditions, including house arrest, no contact with children.
I'm guessing the dude has a higher bond because he's the one that did the deed.
We believe that the father
the mother
committed the offense of capital murder where he caused the injuries to the child. And then injury to by omission,
the mother is an
As
accomplice.
a mother, we have a duty and an obligation to protect our children, to seek adequate medical treatment for them when they are injured. And so we believe she
failed to meet these standards.
And there were text messages and searches that
being a
indicated
protective
that there had
mother.
been ongoing abuse of the baby. Now the baby was only 67 days old, and so
basically
there's only so much time that could pass. But throughout that time,
complicit
their
in the
relationship
abuse
with the mom and the dad showed that the child had been being injured multiple times. We knew about the incident when he was 10 days old, already having broken bones. You know, if babies are moving, they shouldn't have any bruises, bumps, or broken bones, certainly. They'll have additional court settings. Eventually, the cases will be presented to a grand jury, and then a grand jury will decide whether it's
for whatever reason these people became parents, and they should have never been parents because all they did was abuse the child and then killed the child.
We did try to speak with them after the hearing, but they did decline.
Yeah, some people just should not have kids
live in downtown Houston,
because they're not fit for it. Not fit to have children.
Right now to talk about the criminal investigation.
We'll look at that later.
We have breaking news. The LAPD is investigating a burglary at a mansion in West LA.
Yeah, it happened just days after a home invasion at another multi-million-dollar home over the weekend.
Chain of
KTLA's
home
Omar Lewis
invasions.
is live in LA's Beverlywood neighborhood with more. Omar, good morning.
Good morning, Megan and Chris. Detectives this morning are still trying to
there
figure out
is
who
a
is
chain
behind
of
this burglary
crime
that
happening
happened right here on Bolton Street in Beverlywood. As you mentioned, it happened at this White House that is lit up behind us here. It forced a woman to hide inside her closet and call 911, and it all happened late last night inside this home worth more than $5 million. One of several high-end properties on this block that's been hit.
Yeah, these people are hitting high rollers,
Investigators
man.
say it was just
All
after
the rich people,
11:15 Tuesday night when a suspect or suspects broke through a glass back door of this mansion here at 9325 Bolton Road. A woman inside heard the noise, locked herself inside of a bedroom, and immediately called 911. Police say by the time officers arrived, those intruders had taken off. Neighbors tell us it's the latest in a string of burglaries and attempted break-ins here along this stretch of Beverly Wood. Another incident was reported as recent as Sunday night, 2 doors down, also at a multi-million-dollar property. According to residents here, this home where this burglary took place last night, it belongs to a social media influencer who's currently out of the country, but police have not confirmed that information. So investigators are focused on determining whether this break-in is connected to others reported along this same Beverly Woods street. But as of this morning, no arrests have been made.
I wonder whose house they tried to hit.
Any suspect
well, I mean, they were just hitting probably a bunch of people's
in
houses.
This community say they want these crimes to come to an end, of course. Back out here,
but Beverly Hills, rich area.
Anyone in this neighborhood who may have surveillance video or any information to contact
Beverly
the West
Hills.
LA division of the LAPD. We will remain on this scene gathering more details for you, but that is the latest here this morning live from West LA. I'm Omar Lewis for KTLA 5 News.
Anyways, yeah, that's California for you. Was the Chicago mayor Brendan Johnson being a fucking cunt?
If that had been your wife, Stacey, would you want ICE to deport her to deport that illegal alien? Yes or no? Answer the question as a man, not as mayor, but as a man.
You must see this entire exchange with the furious reporter William J. Kelly and Chicago Mayor
this
Brendan
happened
Johnson.
what?
Over the last week,
couple months ago, or a month ago, something like that, when he did his press conference.
Who say that it is hate speech for you to evoke the Civil War.
Or actually, is this a new press conference
back the
that he did?
Confederacy?
And that's when he called them out.
Say that law enforcement is a sickness.
This might be a new press conference where he called them out.
50 sworn police officers on your detail. What do you say to these people, and will you ask your 150 sworn police officer CPD detail to stand down if you and your wife Stacey are ever attacked, shot at, or rammed with a protester vehicle?
Jesus.
First of all, I'm sorry to hear that your numbers of interactions have gone down to only 300,000.
Actually, millions, but personally, I've interacted with over 300,000, believe it or not.
It went down this week.
No, it's going up. Higher than yours, by the way.
Okay.
By the way, check out your comments.
Is Mayor Brandon Johnson was that supposed to be like some kind of own?
It's important to be able to make sure that to the
See, this
that
is
you're talking to,
this is the issue with all the Democrats. They think they have the optics in their hand, but it's like
the addiction
no,
jails and
no, you don't. You're just lucky you're protected by the government.
It is an evil. Dr. King made that very clear.
Really?
He did. And so I believe it's incumbent upon us to make sure that the real Chicagoans or the real people of America, instead of sending billions of dollars overseas.
Oh yeah, by the way, he's not. By the way, he's not a real American.
People right here in the city of Chicago.
He didn't.
Well,
he wasn't there when the founding fathers created shit.
Chicagoans that I talk to, that I communicate
he's
with,
probably not an American. He's probably a
tell me that you don't seem
immigrant
to know the difference between illegal
family.
aliens and real Chicago citizens. They feel that you are siding
that
with
immigrated
the
to
illegal
America
aliens
and then
over them in their communities.
assimilated and got citizenship.
Sadly, let's get to the question. Let's get to the question. The real question is simply this. I don't know how to make it any more direct. An illegal alien from Nicaragua grabbed a woman on the north side last week, bashed her head into the sidewalk, knocked her unconscious, and raped her. If that had been your wife, Stacey, would you to deport that illegal alien? Yes or no? Answer the question as a man, not as mayor, but as a man. Would you want ICE to deport that rapist? No? Okay. That's the answer.
That's the answer for real Chicagoans.
Mayor, sorry for being late to traffic's bad. Maybe the Fed.
You're not blaming me for the traffic, are you?
Ha 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 ha.
The last time Kelly asked a question like that, it was not well received by the mayor.
Megan Boss, decapitated, her body abused in a dumpster, in a bleach-filled
Well, I mean,
dumpster on
because
this
you're
man's
using the
property,
the craziest fucking cases where these people just do the most fucked up shit.
If that had been Stacy, if that had been your wife Stacy's body,
I love how he
been
gets the most
decapitated,
fucked
abused.
up cases, and it's just like, would you allow your family to go through this
To ask you
situation?
this very specific question: had that been your wife Stacy, would you want ICE to pick up this illegal alien?
Yeah.
I'm not going to entertain your
I'm
question.
not
You're
gonna.
not going to answer.
Well, obviously,
Okay, my follow-up
that's
question
because he's
is,
so
they are
protected that it won't
What you're
happen.
saying is quite threatening.
What?
It's quite threatening.
Really?
Can we move on to the next person here?
Excuse me, but no,
And if you continue to behave in such a way, we'll just make sure that we take the appropriate steps. You are threatening and provocative.
This is a question that the real people of
No, this
Chicago
is
are
a-
asking.
William, please
Oh,
give
it's
me
a
the
threat
microphone. We ask
because-
for respect. We give it to you. I expect the same.
This is a very serious question.
We understand. Please give me the microphone.
From the adage of
I do not want to
success
have this
has many
conversation.
fathers and
Please
failure is an orphan.
have more respect for the office and for yourself right now.
This is a very serious
I'd tell
question
this.
that the real
I'd
people
tell
of
this
Chicago
bitch
are
to go
asking me
hang
to ask.
herself.
I am seriously asking you to show respect for
I'm
this
sorry.
office
I'd
and
tell
give
this
me the
Kara to go
microphone.
hang herself. I would tear right Mayor Brandon Johnson to go find a cliff too.
Thank you.
Mayor, good afternoon. From the adage.
Pussies, faggots.
Tonight at 11, we're learning more about the shocking death of a
Most
local
protected
businesswoman
class,
and
by the
longtime
way.
Hollywood actress.
Politicians.
Cindyana Santangelo of Malibu.
Politicians and their
Details revealed in court as
fucking
this woman
shit staff.
stands accused of giving the deadly silicone butt injections that killed Santangelo. And we've learned it's not the first time. The woman facing similar charges for another woman's death, also in a
Uh-oh.
butt enhancement procedure. Eyewitness News reporter Tim Pulliam outside a courthouse in downtown Los Angeles with more on the disturbing new revelations.
Why don't you get a tattoo? I had my boyfriend's name tattooed on me.
She played a sexy stripper in the classic sitcom Married with Children. And in 1989, the sultry video girl in Young MC's hit song.
On a mission and you're wishing someone could cure your lonely condition.
The camera catching a glimpse of her swaying backside. But years later, a tragic tale. Cindyana Santangelo's quest for a bigger bottom ultimately led to her death. Prosecutors say the Hollywood
ain't
actress
that a
had illegal
bitch.
silicone butt injections back in March, performed by Libby Ottoman.
Man, it sounds
now
like
on trial for her death.
those
In
right
closing
wannabe
arguments
Ken
Tuesday,
dolls or
prosecutors told the
those
jury she was
perfectionists who
negligent.
go around getting those fucking Botox and shit all the time. Yeah, it's probably not a good idea to do that to your body. Yeah.
Adame's defense attorney told the jury.
She did not do it.
Last year, Adame and her daughter Alicia Galaz of Riverside were convicted of a similar crime.
Notice how all of these
involuntary
people have
manslaughter.
been.
The case dates back to 2019 when mother and daughter
They all look like
injected
they got
silicone
some
into
jobs.
Carissa Rajpal's butt at her home in Sherman Oaks.
These actions speak volumes, Your Honor.
Why do you
They
women
speak
do
of
this to
selfishness,
yourselves?
Cowardice, and a fundamental disregard for human life.
Silicone injections into the butt are not FDA approved.
They're
The agency
basically
warns it can lead to
BBLs.
serious side effects and even
Brazilian
death.
butt lifts.
Adame and her daughter were each sentenced to prison but were released on parole for time served. Now, Adame back in court as a jury decides her fate for her alleged role in this Hollywood starlet's death of a silicone embolism. Yeah, and the jury will return to court.
Why do women do this to
9 a.m. to
themselves?
begin
I don't
deliberations.
fucking know. You
Tim Pulliam,
don't ask me.
ABC7,
Maybe they
Eyewitness
got
News.
gaslit by their fucking friends and their relationships. I don't fucking know. Maybe they saw too much of the maybe they saw too much social media and then they wanted to become certain women and then they could never become those women, so they tried to alter their body. Who knows? Fucking crazy people. You never know what a fucking crazy person's gonna fucking do, right? National Guard troops from Texas arrived in Illinois. The 200 troops are expected to be joined by about 300 Illinois National Guard troops. Officials said they will provide support and protect federal immigration agents. Trump said the military is needed in cities, many of which are led by Democrats, to crack down.
And he has ordered them to
it's
activate
JB
for
Fatboy
duty in Illinois.
Pritzker. Piggy boy.
I have called upon
Piggy
Governor
Piggy.
Abbott to immediately withdraw his support for
Piggy
this decision and
Piggy.
refuse to allow Texas National Guard members to be used in this way.
Mobilization came as Kash Patel and director of the FBI. Hey Patel, you gonna release that information? No? Okay. Meanwhile, another Trump administration official, Christy Nome. Hey Christy. You're gonna tell Kash Patel to release them? I'm sorry. Alright, there you have it. And then we got some highlights. So I just ran the fucking. I don't want to watch all that shit. So we're just gonna pull out what some news outlets said and what what YouTube has said. I don't know. A bunch of fucking links. Anyways, President Trump's roundtable on Antifa, held on October 8th, 2025, focused on portraying the anti-fascist movement. So the Antifa. So they were making more statements on Antifa. Movement as a severe domestic threat and outline aggressive federal actions to counter it. The event brought together administration officials, conservative journalists, and commentators to share their perspectives on alleged violence attributed to Antifa. Designation as terrorist group. President Trump reiterated that Antifa had been designated as a domestic terrorist organization, and he floated the idea of classifying it as an international terrorist group in order to further enable crackdowns. Why didn't you just do that in the beginning? See, this is the other issue. Why are you just tiptoeing around the fucking issue? This approach was compared to military strategies used against gangs and cartels, aiming to dismantle both operational and financial. Federal crackdown. Administration officials stressed their intention to deploy all federal resources, including investigative and law enforcement power, against Antifa. Trump called for aggressive action and specifically vowed retribution that would be far more severe than the threats alleged to have been made by Antifa activists. Focus on funding. FBI Director Kash Patel mentioned coordination with the Treasury to trace financial support for Antifa, pledging the federal agencies would investigate funding sources and involve criminal prosecution where possible. And then we have comparison to foreign threats. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem equated Antifa's organization and threat level to groups like ISIS, MS-13, and Hezbollah. Ebola. Though these claims were presented without concrete evidence and were met with skepticism by critics and legal experts. Well, I mean, it's because I don't think that, right, whenever they say this type of stuff, they don't really show evidence when they say, hey, we're just gonna designate them this. And then they go on their whole, right, and then they talk about why they're such an issue, but then they don't actually, like, bring pictures or whatever. So it's like, okay, so you're just talking out your ass? Maybe, I don't know. Media and political context. The roundtable included conservative influencer who accused media outlets of downplaying Antifa's violence there was significant criticism of Democratic leaders in cities like Portland and Chicago, suggests that local pushback hampered federal efforts. That was the Hill. This participants and public reaction. The session involved administration heavyweights, Attorney General Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, Kash Patel, as well as conservative journalists. That's just, okay, legal and political experts question. Political experts question the practicality, and legality of targeting a loosely organized movement. Many noted that Antifa is an ideology rather than a cohesive group, and cracking down on adherents could have serious First Amendment applications. Well, not really. Just get the people who literally vandalize shit, assault people. Yeah, that's it. You're good. The policy push has drawn concern from those worried about encroachments on civil liberties and the escalation of federal intervention into local policing matters. President Trump, they have posted significant threats to individuals, but we are going to respond with even greater threats to them, far more severe than anything they have directed towards us, including those who finance them. The Antifa network is as sophisticated as MS-13, ISIS, and Hezbollah and Hamas. They are just as perilous. Their agenda is to annihilate us, similar to other terrorists who we have confronted for many years. This was the round table. Round table underscored Trump's commitment to a hardline stance on left-wing protests, movements, emphasized expanded investigative powers, and fueled a contentious political debate over the nature and threat level of Antifa. Yeah, he's kind of slow, to be honest, on it. And then, can you give me, yeah, I gave you, I was like, give me the highlights, I don't give a fuck. 9:25, so this was today in the cabinet meeting. The breakthrough ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas, the ongoing U.S. government shutdown, and the administration's intent to use the shutdown as leverage for cutting federal programs favored by Democrats. Oh yeah, by the way, we're probably going to go for another fucking government, another day, yes? Another shutdown day. Let's go. Anyways, President Trump opened the meeting by highlighting a momentous breakthrough in the Middle East. An agreement between Israel and Hamas to begin the first phase of his 20-point peace plan, including a ceasefire and a prisoner hostage exchange. Trump announced that all remaining Israeli hostages would be released in the coming days and that plans were underway for him to travel to the region, potentially to sign the agreement and speak at the Israeli Knesset. While he projected optimism for lasting peace, Trump provided few details on the post-war future of Gaza or security guarantees, saying his immediate priority was the release of the hostages. He mentioned involvement from regional, very wealthy countries in reconstruction, but left specifics vague. Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, were among the key cabinet members present and involved in these Middle East negotiations. Government shutdown and budget cuts. Cabinet meeting took place on the 9th day of the ongoing federal shutdown. Hell yeah, let's go. More federal shutdown. Let's go. Day number 10, let's go. Which had led to the furlough of approximately 750,000 federal employees and was estimated to be costing the U.S. economy $15 billion weekly. Well, I mean, yeah, because you guys didn't divert any funding. So, Trump stated that the shutdown provided an opportunity to implement his agenda. including making permanent cuts to government programs widely supported by Democrats. He explicitly stated, "I hate to tell you, but we are cutting Democrat programs," framing these cuts as a necessary fiscal measure. Got him. Other notable points: Trump's recent focus on controversial initiatives was noted: immigration, LGBTQ+, rights, environmental regulation reforms, and designation of Antifa as a terrorist organization. The cabinet lineup saw a structural shift, with the UN ambassador removed from the cabinet rank under Trump's current admin. These issues dominated the high-stakes cabinet session, reflecting both ongoing international diplomacy and continuous domestic policy direction. Alright, and there you have it. That is it for the news. I will leave all the links in the description. Sorry for not providing links for certain things, because I was just like, I don't give a fuck. But yeah, there you have it. So that was the short version. I need to cut up the stream later, because I was just gonna probably put up the whole stream on the YouTubes anyways. It won't have, well, you're gonna have an edited, right, this edited part, or, well, sort of edited part. And then I'm gonna put, like, the unedited, like, whole stream on fucking YouTube. I'm fucking lazy right now. Cause, I don't got much time. I got, like, honestly, I should probably go now. I should probably go now. Cause I'm already a tired person. Also, maybe we should read a little bit of the Cinder stuff too. Even though there's probably, oh, there's nothing. Even though there's probably nothing fucking. Man, this is a whole nothing burger. Anyways. I mean, this will, if I read this, this will make me definitely fucking go to sleep quick. Alright. My apology and taking accountability. So we're gonna continue where we left off. Alright, we read Redacted. We read all the preface. Alright, and then we read all the Redacted. Now, the apology bullcrap. Now that I've reviewed, honestly, I don't even think we need to read. I don't even think we really need to read this. Honestly, we probably just need to read, like, all of this stuff, really. Maybe not the, I don't know, like, these three people? I don't know who these three people, I don't really care. I feel like most of it was, like, this stuff right here. Or Silvervale, Shy Lily, Bow, and Nanolis, right? The other stuff is, like, whatever. Now that I reviewed everything that happened and had time to reflect on my own actions, there are some details I need to point out, corrections I need to make an apology. I'll go over things Red or I, both of us, did wrong so we can take responsibility. Each section after this will explain the full story around each major individual involved. Anything Red and I did. Honestly, watching paint dry would be better than reading this. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. No, I'm not, because why the fuck are you making me... Why do you, like I said yesterday, why do these people post on the fucking internet like this? Oh, let me just do a Google Docie. Oh, yeah. That's right, because you guys live in a, you guys are on a platform that doesn't facilitate, any regulatory actions to keep people safe, right? And in terms of just keeping your fucking business safe and shit like that. Right? Twitch streaming, the only safety you can get is by having a lawyer. And even then, you're asking to have a lawyer on hand, like when shit hits the fan like this. That's kind of a lot of money. Anyways. Also, especially with all the financial shit that's been happening in this whole situation. Jesus. Seems to be a lot of money moving around too. It's like, Jesus. There were a reference to screenshots that are directly taken from another document, highlighted orange. Dates and important messages with any screenshots, yellow. Quotes from my apology. Red zone comment. So this was Eastern time of what, April 27th? Shit hit the fan, right? The apology. The things I claimed and admitted to in my apology were based on what I knew at the time. Just business. Published in everyone's else's documents. And what Red told me right after. I shut him out when I shouldn't have. I made my apology without his help, without all of the info in front of me, and without knowing the full scope of what happened. Yeah, so basically you fucking jumped the gun. In a sense, almost all these people jumped the gun, but, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say because, right, everything happened one after the other, so it's like, hard to say who jumped the gun first, but it seemed like everyone jumped the gun, right? Expected fault for everything I was accused of, but not guilty of doing. Some of the things I wrote were overly apologetic. Well, I mean, you're still making, like, overly apologetic shit, right? You're making a bunch of flowery words too. Stop it. Just fucking get on with the program. Get to it. See, this is the issue with women. They love to fucking yeah. It's not even not even worth it. The main takeaway people had from my apology was that I pushed everything onto Red and didn't take accountability for anything myself. Well, I mean, in a way, he did. But I blamed Red for in my apology because he was guilty of doing them. Him telling me how great it would be to work together with Silvervale. What do you mean? Him holding a grudge against Bao. Okay. What I blamed Red for in my apology when I was also guilty. Red was the one with the business-oriented outlook on things from the start. I adopted that same mindset myself from working together at the time. I wrongly made it sound like I was brainwashed into thinking this way in my apology. What, just business? What Red was guilty of in my apology that I didn't know about until writing it. Red and Nano, ever talking about a model for Geary in November 2023. Red including Bao and Cotton in his conversation, an eventual deal with Nano and around exclusivity in January 2025. And bad-mouthing Bao in their DMs as if they were our shared feelings. Red talking to Nano about Shy Lily and her model in April 2025. Things I said about Red in my apology that I was wrong about. He did not manipulate Nano. He did not push Nano to work with Silvervale, and she was not a constant topic between them. Things I took accountability for in my apology. Agreeing with Red to talk with Nano about exclusivity. Agreeing to specifically name Silvervale in the terms and knowing a deal involving her was made. Guilt-tripping Nano. feeling overly attached to Nano and her work, not knowing about what Red had said about Bao to Nano when I should have, not speaking to Bao about Red's feelings towards her and letting it spiral to the point it did. Being upset and taking it personally when Bao hired my video editor. Being upset when Sacramore told us he wouldn't be working with us again. Oh, this is when Bao basically poached, I guess, Sacramore or something. I don't know. Or did the exclusivity to Sacramore or some shit. I don't know. Confiding in Red about Shy Lily's behavior towards me. Becoming resentful towards Silvervale. Letting my insecurities, well, I mean, to be honest, I feel like everyone was trying to get Nano to be like their exclusivity pet. But at the same time, it seems like Nano's suspicious as fuck too. Because why was she taking on all these jobs that she knows she shouldn't be taking on, especially with the, right, especially with how I wouldn't say inconsistent, but her release time on certain certain models, especially with her back orders and shit, right? A lot of these artists seem how do you say, inconsistent and unprofessional. Right, they don't get the job done on time, and then you gotta keep pushing it back, and it's just like, are you gonna actually get this job done, or are you just taking me on for a ride, right? So yeah, that's the issue too. Anyways, also there's no regulatory body to make sure that everyone's being fair and no one's fucking each other over, right? Shiloh towards me, becoming resentful towards Silvervale, letting my insecurities public influence my feeling towards Silvervale, assuming Spike copied me, being very possessive of my design details early on in my career, overreacting to Nyan Tails' Hellhound OC design, which was apologized for in the past, cheating on my boyfriend, neglecting or leaving behind friends of mine. I admitted to the world that I cheated on my secret boyfriend, and the story pushed was that I took no accountability. I used him as a scapegoat. Oh, I mean, in a way. Even with all these concessions of what I did do, I was still somehow a narcissist who couldn't accept a fault. What I did was not admit to the right things. The people making these claims already decided I was guilty of. They also expected me to apologize for everything I've ever done without any of it ever being mentioned, even if the matter was already settled in the past. Okay. I understand that things my manager did. Manager? Oh, you mean your boy? Well, can't just say your fucking boyfriend. Stop using the fucking manager. I'm so sick and tired of fucking these idol culture fucking streamer terms that these all fucking shitty people, right? These industry terms that these fucking people use. No, you guys are fucking pieces of shit. Fuck you. Lying fuckheads. Are ultimately my responsibility. And my ignorance doesn't change that. I mean, just, why can't... See, this is the issue. You people want to hide behind your fucking masks and shit all the fucking time, right? As for me, I have to go out there and put my face all over the fucking goddamn public, while you guys stay on the internet, you know, all happy. Sorry, I'm just being a dick here, but right, right. These guys aren't subjected to like manual labor, right? They're just on the fucking internet, posting bullshit, making snide comments about people they know nothing about half the time, right? Or even 100% of the time, right? It's like, you people are fucking headaches, man. Well, what is, man, it feels like we're back in like middle school, high school, of the cliques, like a fucking war, off in their own bubbles and shit. And then you got some of the cliques, right, speaking ill of other cliques when they shouldn't be really doing that because they're just as bad. I was like, yeah, whatever, I don't know. I understand, right, all the girly pops, the oligarchy, you gotta be careful. Don't upset the oligarchy, right? Right, don't upset the status quo. Don't shake the cage, yes? Oh, I'm gonna shake the shit out of it. I'm gonna shake all you fucking people. I understand the things my manager did, my accuser went out of their way to claim Cinder did this and Cinder said that, completely disregarding Red's agency from any of his own words and actions. Well, I mean, because you made it sound like you guys were, like, of one mind, right? When you give someone the power of the manager position, well, you're in a sense asking them to, right, make decisions on their own too. So at the same time, it sounds like you are allowing him to make decisions too. But then when, you know, let's just keep going. Like, dude, just own up to you put him, you asked him to do a job. Did he do the job? Well, just say yes. Fuck. What? Obviously, he didn't do 100% the job completely correct, but he was trying. Apparently, you guys weren't talking a lot. So it's like, well, I don't know. Claims because they said work things out together on our phones during the few times a year we were traveling. And Nano's documents show 2 of my screenshots from over a year apart from separate situations where I knew more or less what had happened between her and Red. There is no other evidence presented for their claim. But they told everyone it absolutely had to be this way. Emphasis was placed on Red's usage of we and our. As if they could know for a fact that it meant Red was always speaking with my knowledge, approval, and oversight every single time he said it. This was necessary for their narrative to work against me. Well, I mean, look. I'm just gonna say it as someone who's not on anybody's side. You guys are like, all of you people are fucking suspicious. Like the targeted attack, the weird cancellations of people's projects. Also, a lot of this was done behind closed doors, right? Away from the public eye. And then now all of you are just full blasting it all on the public. So yeah, I view you all suspicious as fuck. Especially when you're in the entertainment industry and all you guys do is fucking stream like 9 hours a day, 12 hours a day, whatever, every day or some shit like that, or maybe take some days off. Yeah, you guys are suspicious as fuck because this is how you make your money, by making drama. How do you think fucking Asmongold makes his money? Drama. How do you think Tectone made his money? Drama. How do you think fucking fuckboy Hassan is making his money? Drama. All of these people are using drama. Anyways. Or they're using court trials, or, right, piggybacking off people, or trying to tear other people down and shit like that, right? Stuff like that. Anyways. Emphasis was placed on Red, or they're in lawsuits of themselves because they got into some situations. Emphasis was placed on Red's usage of we and our, as if they could know for. Oh yeah, we already read that. This is what I said in my apology about this. I do not condone anything about what Red said about Bao in these DMs either, and him using we and our in this context is abhorrent and correct and believe it was done. Okay, and then I have always been more or less, so this is Brett, a creative lead on things we did, like model designs, project ideas, and art in general. And Cinder often agree with my creative judgment. Oh, you mean the creative judgment to try and pit people against each other and to drive to drive hate trains and shit to each other. Or try to get people to sympathy donate. Alright. She trusted me to do the communication I did for her without oversight. For example, a lot of times I would be the one talking to the artists we were working with, who only knew me as Cinder's manager. If I knew the direction I wanted to take something with or without talking to Cinder beforehand, and I said, I want this art to be like this, instead of Cinder wants this art to be like this, then it felt like an awkward thing for me to say. In my mind, to the person we're working with, I'm just the manager. Not the creator, not the streamer, not their client. What I myself wanted wasn't important. What Cinder wanted was. So in order to give weight to what I would say, I started using we early on without speaking for her directly, saying Cinder. If we wanted to do something a certain way, then it'd give me agency by implying that we both agreed on what made the decision. The Cinder was aware and the decision being made. Regardless of what she actually was or wasn't at the time, and that my words had meaning. I was speaking on the brand's behalf. It became a habit of mine to talk this way regarding any projects or business dealings. I didn't start doing this because anyone told me I should be. I didn't speak like this all the time or in every single message. It's not like Cinder never knew about what I was saying when saying we. If afterwards she did disagree with me on something, then I'd have to walk back what I said and say that Cinder actually wants it this way. For example, very often Cinder was on the same page as me beforehand or would agree with what I said without her knowledge using we afterwards. In the case of the exclusivity deal with Nano, I used we when talking about Bao, so it seemed like Cinder also backed how I felt. Cinder not only wasn't aware of this, but I knew she didn't agree with me about what I was saying. In our conversation, Nano said herself that she was not really down with working with people who Cinder didn't want her to. So I made sure to tell Nano how we felt, express my own feelings to her as if they were both of ours. This will all be shown in Nano's section. There are 3 things of an apology I needed to correct, and that will be shown in full detail in this document. Missing information, lies, and incorrect statements. Yeah, this is what I wanted to know. This is the main thing I care about. All the missing information, right? This is mainly what I care about, not really anything else. Can you argue yourself out of this situation? I left out of the information regarding my experience with Silvermeld and trying to apologize to her, and ended up making things sound much worse than what really happened. I lied about not knowing the Red spoke to Nano about Spite in 2023 to not make things worse for myself by revealing more than Nano or Spite did about what happened regarding her. I was wrong about which year the situation with Nyan Tails took place in. I wrote that it was after my debut, but it was actually an entire year earlier. My apology and the accusation. Well, that's going to happen when you're fucking being bombarded by a bunch of people for you to make a statement, and then you got a bunch of people attacking you. You fucking jumped the gun like everyone else. My apologies and accusations made against me do not cover everything Red and I have done wrong. I've laid out everything below that will be presented throughout the document so we can address them. Explaining the motives and reasonings behind our actions are not meant to justify or diminish them, or the feelings of those affected, but to understand why they happen. Everything one of us or both of us are guilty of and accountability is to take were shown in this document. In order they are presented, we both became neglectful of my friendship. I don't really. Honestly, I just want, like I said, all I care about is her refuting all this stuff. It's been falsely claimed that I was manipulating, sabotaging, betraying, and backstabbing all my friends for my years in an effort to deplatform them and ruin their careers. There was never some kind of years-long grand conspiracy of deceit against anyone, and I have never pushed the ladder down behind me. I've never been jealous or envious of any of my friends or anyone else. My friends were not stepping stones I used to further myself. I loved my friends. Our experience together were real. Wow, I feel like she kind of... the stepping stone one was kind of my take on this thing. Because I hate to tell you, on the internet, people love using people as stepping stones. Yeah, criminals do it all the time, yeah? I used to further myself. I loved my friends. Our experiences together were real. Our memories together are real. It hurts that I even need to say that here. There are plenty of things my friends know I'm done for. Friends know I've done for them, helped them with, or included them in for no other reason than they were my friends. I've always answered their questions and offered them advice when they asked, done my best to be there and support them at their debuts with their own endeavors, and I've personally bought so much of their merch for myself without even saying so. I literally brought brownies. I'm sorry, what? What does that have to do with? Wait, wait, that fucking brown. Wait, did she say that again? Wait, didn't she say that in her first of all? Anyways, I literally brought brownies my mom made across the country to share with them. I don't know. What is that? You could be lying about those brownies too. You might have just bought them at some store, right? It's like, okay. Anyways, I spent my own time making one of my yes, you are great friends now because you shared your mom's recipe brownies with your friends. I guess that's supposed to be for brownie points, but that's nothing. Anyways, more than 3 finished pieces below were planned for more of my friends, including Bao, before I put all of my crafting focus into my Nihilister cosplay. It meant a lot to me that I could make things that meant a lot to them. Oh yeah, these people wanted to be cosplayers. Yes. They wanted to cosplay you a lot. Because they're a bunch of anime fans, I guess. Well, not really anime fans. They're just taking anime. I don't even know any of these people actually like watch or read manga or watch anime. But they take the anime... Right, they take the anime character and make them into a virtual character. Or at least they kind of mirror the the anime characters at least. They're cartoon characters. They're PNG characters. They're not fucking real. Right? They're just pixels. I don't know what they think I did against them other than what I listed above, or where these ideas came from, or what rumors they were hearing about me, or how my friends collectively agreed this must have been the case after everything we've done and shared with each other. I absolutely could have been a much better friend. But I just can't believe every single one of them thought this little of me. At a moment's notice. There were about a dozen of my friends involved before Nano's document was posted. And still not one of them said anything to me before they were posted publicly. Oh yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna fucking post this on YouTube. Cause this is brain dead shit. A lot of my friendships did suffer due to where my priorities have been, especially over my course of 2024. Because of my focus. See, this is why I can't take these people. Like, all these people came out the cut at 2020. Right? These people are new to streaming. These people are fucking children. Some of these people lost their jobs and had to come to streaming. Right? Because they got fucking laid off. So I was like, I don't care. I was jobless already before this shit happened, so. Still jobless now. Still making unemployed comments and wanting people to hang. Yeah? I'm here for the battle arena, right? But nobody wants to throw hands or get their hands bloodied. No one wants the real life ramifications, yes? No one wants the real life consequences of getting their hands fucking bloodied. Yeah, nobody wants that. I don't know why. Nobody wants that heat. Well, actually, no, that isn't true. There are people who want that heat. I should be talking about like Hassan, Destiny, right? All those people who go out and be fucking weird about certain topics. I guess you could say Howard Stern with some of that weird shit he did back in the day, right? You got a lot of weird people. Yeah, you got a lot of crazy politicians too who are fucking racist too. Anyways, I'll be isolating or hanging out with Red to decompress, and I didn't have the energy to socialize. I tried to plan collabs with friends. Sorry for those. Yeah, blah blah blah. Anyways, business, just business. Red and I slowly became more closed off and neglectful of people over the past couple years, but especially through 2024. Why? Because streaming is fickle, and it's very easy for people to get canceled if you make one slip up or you say an F slur or the N slur or whatever slur. Let me just say the N word with the heavy R, the nuclear. Oh, uh-oh. Getting close? Fuck you. All you people need to get fucking hung, to be honest. You guys are fucking stupid. Red and I slowly became more closed off, neglectful, but especially throughout 2024, focusing on more and more of our time and energy on this career. Work became almost 24/7 for us. Never taking a break, it was our job, our hobby, and almost all we talked about. We loved what we did, but we both became consumed by the content grind. Ah, yes. Like every other fucking streamer on the fucking platform. I call it the content brain rot. Right? Straight up brain rot. Right? There's a lot of brain rot individuals on the internet. Especially those on Twitch and Kick and all these streaming platforms, right? There's a lot of brain rot. We love what we did. We both became consumed by the content. I mean, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'm going too hard on content creators. I mean, look, there are some content creators who are generally fine, who don't get into political fight, who don't try to get into fights, who don't try to antagonize people, right? Who don't try to cause wars or try to get people deplatformed, blah blah blah. Yes, they're around, but at the same time, they're on a platform that advocates for people to get harassed and attacked, right? So it's like, you're on the same boat as that, as everyone else. Everyone's gonna get fucking fucked in the ass once one of these platforms gets actually nuked, right? Now, then everyone's gonna be like, oh shit, please, don't say anything. Please, we need to censor ourselves. The money was nice, but it's never been the driving factor for anything we did. Oh, that's bullshit. All you I'm sorry. That's bullshit. Because when your job is surrounded by making content and being on the internet like 24/7. Sorry, no, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because how the fuck are you gonna get funded? Right? How are you gonna, all these projects you want to do, how are you gonna get funded? Right? Especially whatever the fuck you people want to do, right? Factor anything we did, it was an indicator of successful project, event, or merch drop that anyone understood. The majority of what I've made and spent went back into my work, or towards the house my dad was been building. I've released a lot of merch, and is something Red and I have both been passionate about coming up with and releasing cool new merch products, and one of the most fun and fulfilling things to work on. And being on new products like a drink flavor or trading card game was super exciting to us. Well, that's good for you, because I don't give a fuck. Right, when streamers talk about their accolades, to me, I just don't give a fuck. Because it's in the bubble of their stream. Right? They will not be able to, in a sense, put that stuff into an actual job career. Like, say, for, I don't know, manual labor, for instance. None of these people do manual labor. They just go online and talk about topics, or stream video games, right? Or I guess you can say make music. Do a bunch of wacky sub goals and shaving their head or beard because they never shave their head or beard ever. And then they finally do it for a fucking goal and such. It's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. You guys want to play up all your weird fucking games to raise money and blah blah blah. You do you, right? Right, you gotta monetize everything, right? Right, this is why I don't trust big tech companies. This is why I don't trust streamers. This is why I don't trust the government. Everything needs money in a sense. There's obviously an ulterior motive to everything. One instance I may be called out for regarding this was during my Heavy Hound model debut during my lore video. I had an intermission when my chat needed to fill a gold bar. Oh yeah, that's the other thing too. The streamers that go around being doing that weird donation goal shit, being like, donate guys, you can just pay 5 months. Why are you guys being lame? You guys are the worst chatters. Fucking losers, man. Fucking losers on the daily, going on their stream and just talking shit just so they can get money, or do illegal things so that they can facilitate people giving them money to do illegal things, right? Hey, Twitch. Anyways, or just breaking TOS constantly and just nothing happening. Oh, I say some bad words and I get taken out for 7 days. I called someone out for being a fucking shithead and I get canceled for 7 days. Okay. Anyways. Honestly, I think that person that fucking tried to cancel me, I'm pretty sure they were like a fucking Twitch mod or some fucking faggoty reason. In my apology, I said I'm disgusted with myself for buying into the narrative that my friends were competition. No. In this day and age, in this life, right? In this game of life, yes, life is a competition. Struggle. Struggle, fight, survive. Have fun. I just learned about all this myself, and there could have been so many other friends affected by the narrative that things always had to be competitive. Well, yeah, I mean, they are. I mean, if you need to make money, right? I mean, if you're going on a job hunt and you have and 30 or 40 people are trying to get in on that same job, right? What makes you different from all those other, right, 39, 40 people? Are you any different? Are you going to bring something new to the table, right? Red always considered everyone our competition, including my friends. No, he has the right mindset. I understood and agreed with his reasoning below. I didn't change anything. Well, I mean, look, you guys are streamers, so yeah, you guys are in competition. I hate to tell you guys, but none of you guys are, right, nobody in the streaming sphere is actually buddy-buddy with each other, right? No one's friends with each other. You guys are just colleagues in the same fucking sphere. You guys are co-workers. Some of you people don't even converse with each other, so you can't even call yourselves co-workers. You generally have one thing in common, right? Trying to make videos, right? Content creation and making videos. That's the only one commonality. Other than that, none of you people are friends unless you actually, bridge that gap. The content creation sphere is massive, and the VTuber sphere is a fraction of that. With its own audience, everyone is always doing something, launching something, playing something, and it is constant race of relevancy. Correct. I mean, just look at Twitter. Just look at all the social media or all the streaming platforms. Right. There's a reason why a lot of people flock to the 1% on the streaming platforms. Everyone else gets fucked, right? Nature part of the reason why we were always working on the new things, releasing bigger things at a faster and faster rate was to stay competitive. Well, actually, no, well, I mean, some people may have ulterior motives for watching, right? The number one spot person. Who knows? I mean, look, you got a mixed bag. I don't know. Like, you got so many fucking different variables. I don't know. Like, what do you want me to say? Want me to count every single person, every single factor? You're annoying, to be honest. The end goal was about staying relevant and in people's minds, and making sure our projects could succeed alongside anything going on at any given time, while also topping our own things we've done in the past. At no point was this view motivation or any excuse to hurt, take advantage of, or put down creators around us. What do you mean? Creators do that all the time. What are you talking about? Especially well, I shouldn't say creators do. Sorry, the creators who aren't antagonistic or or villainous, right? Who aren't really trying to cause problems, right? And help them out when they needed it. I've always had the backs of the people closest to us. The people I've ever considered as a direct competition in the negative sense were people either we had something against or they had or did something against us. And we were working with artists important to us. So basically when I guess Bow or whoever took your video editor or some shit, and that's when that's when you started acting out. By April 2025, this was only Silvervale from how she acted towards Cinder for years. Bow, after what I thought she did to us and our friends in December of 2024, but only until sometime after my deal with Nano in January 2025, and potentially soon to be Lily, by the way she was treating Cinder and coincidentally getting a model from Nanolist at the same time. It was wrong for me to feel this way, especially towards Bow, and I'm sorry. So there you go. Red said he's sorry to Bow. But no, yeah, everyone's suspicious, unfortunately. Right. Everyone in this Google document is suspicious. Here, I want to address the people Red and I heard that don't have a larger section in this document. Our friends Red and I traveled to Japan last year about a week into our trip in the country. We arrived in Tokyo for the last. Ricky and I were talking about going to Gorilla store the night we arrived, but other plans left us with no time to go. Next morning, Red and I were up super early and we were ready to leave the hotel around 8 and 9 a.m. We waited in a hotel room for about an hour without hearing from Tricky at all, because we only had a few days left in Japan. Red and I wanted to make the most of our remaining time. We were around friends all week and I didn't have much time. Any alone together in Japan either. The other half dozen of us, they either had their own plans or were still sleeping too. See, this is the issue with streamers, right? Everyone's on their own weird time, right? There were other friends staying at the same hotel as Red, Tricky, and I. So instead of waiting around for Tricky to wake up, we selfishly chose to go out into the city and to the Godzilla store without her. By the time Tricky was awake and ready to leave the hotel, Red and I were across the city and didn't go back to get her. We only met up with her towards the end of the day when everyone reconvened somewhere. Red, well, I mean, why didn't you just tell her to go? Anyways, whatever, not my problem. Red and I are sorry to Tricky for leaving her behind and hurting her. We've been there for her, especially when we were traveling together. We didn't think she'd be left completely alone with how many of us were together in Tokyo. Well, I mean, that's what happens when you just fucking sleep. Fucking streamers, man. Anyways, that's a fucking nothing burger anyways. I'm sorry to Cotton for... Dude, I don't want to defend any of these. You guys defend yourselves. I'm sorry to Cotton for the way I've avoided her and turned down collabs together for a situation that had nothing to do with me. I thought I was being a good friend to someone I was close with. But it was unfair to her to treat her that way. I did not agree with how Red included her name in his deal with Nano, and I wouldn't have let him if I knew about it, regardless of how I felt about her at the time. Yeah, see, as you can see, I think it all converges down to one person. Everybody wanted work done with Nanolist, and for whatever reason, Nanolist took on all of this work. And for whatever reason, Nanolist didn't say no to certain work, right? Because she was overfilled with work and shit. Like, yeah. And also, she didn't even take into account for her own well-being too. No, I think that suspicious as fuck, to be honest. Like, when you're taking on this amount of work and then you don't fucking take enough time for yourself, it's like, I don't know, man. You only got so much time in a day. And then you do all this shit, right? Nexu deleted her tweet with her document about me. She shouldn't have, because she was right. I was going to include it here for reference, but I left it out because of what she wrote in it. So instead, I've summarized the situation below. Second, I don't want any kind of public reaction to this. I really do not want to appear on videos or similar. I do not want my case being used as an excuse to put more hate into it. I just want to share and let it out of my chest. I'll probably delete it in the end. Nexu, or Lomaya AF, is an artist that reached out to me via email about making artwork in exchange for showing it off and giving it out shout out to her Patreon on stream. I hadn't seen the email, but she made a tweet laying out her terms, tagging me in it. I messaged her that I was interested. I put her in contact with Red, and he handled things from there. Through Red, we made our agreement. It wasn't until she had a large portion of the sketch finished when I had changed my mind about our agreement and didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't know what was going through my head or what my reason was for this, but I told Red to call it off. Red tried to make it seem like there was miscommunication somewhere to save face for me, but it was really because I was being unprofessional. He talked to me and I agreed to follow through with the art showcase and shout out on my stream. However, I failed to follow Nexu's terms as they were agreed upon. I didn't verbally shout out her Patreon and only showed the link to it and that was on her artwork. I also didn't show the censored NSFW version of the art, but that was because I was worried about getting in trouble with Twitch. This was an unprecedented situation I caused with an artist, and I've never done something like this with anyone else. I handled an agreement I made extremely and regrettably unprofessionally. This was way out of character for me, and I'm sorry to Nexu for how I handled things and for the stress I caused her. I encourage anyone reading this to please support her in her incredible work. So, Nano's document. Nano's document claimed both Red and I manipulated, used, and dragged her into drama while dragged her into drama? What? He's the artist. What do you mean dragged her into drama? When you need to get... When this person's like the sole person working on your work, and you're dragging... What kind of drama? What? Yeah, I have tons and tons of questions, but I probably won't get them answered. These claims were the basis of everything else publicly released afterwards. Documents from half a dozen people, and many others tweeting their grievances with me. It all hinged on Nano's document being posted and its validity. When I wrote my apology, I said I was not fully aware of the extent of Red's manipulation over Nano's commission decisions. When I wrote this poorly worded sentence, I hadn't seen any of these DMs. I was in a panic. I didn't think Nano would be lying about anything, but now that I've read Red's DMs myself, I can't say that Nano was not manipulated, abused, used, lied to, mistreated, expected to take action over any drama she was told about, or incapable of making her own decisions regarding her commissions and clientele. Yeah, her talking about her commissions and clientele so openly sometimes was a little weird. Like, I understand talking about, oh, hey, I'm doing work for another person. I won't be able to, I won't be able to fast track or whatever, right? Instead, I don't know. The whole situation just seems a little weird, right? Because Nano could have easily, I don't know. It just seems like she's disorganized, right? She was never forced to do or not do anything. Has always been in control of her own choices and always had the ability to say no. I'm trying to be nice and not trying to, like, put my own assumptions in here, right? Because The whole situation's still fucking strange. All right. So I was like, because it all came down to this one artist creating all the art for all these people, right? And everyone was giving her tons and tons of money for it. So it's like, so this is where I'm like, I want to try and give Nano the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, I'm just like, dude, this person's fucking suspicious. Especially when this person doesn't live in the United States and they're from a different country. Right? I can't vouch for this. I can't vouch for people who aren't in the United States. Because they have a different constitution. Because right? They might be trying to be a scammer or some shit. I don't know. And even then, even if they were in America themselves, yeah, they could still be a scammer too. But at least if I knew she was from America, I would give her a little bit more leniency. But no, I can't. Because Brazil's fucking Brazil's got some issues. And I was a close friend who was respected and was a massive part of my own success. I've only ever praised her privately and publicly. There was nothing she could do for me and hold anything against me or choose to stop working with her. Red and I always encouraged Nano to do what was best for her. Not us. Red, who handled our plans with her, made sure to work around her schedule, push projects back if she needed more time on them or to take a break, and give her first priority on projects she was interested in. He trusted her, and the extent he lied to her about the other people's involved was in telling her his own genuine thoughts, observations, and experiences with them as he knew them. The same way my accusers did to the public, and how they assumed how Red and I had to have operated together. Look, it's not... I think she's See, that's the other thing, too. I don't think she fully understands why everyone thinks you and Red operate. Because you were paying him to do some of the... So yes, you guys were a team. You guys were a business. I hate this shit. This is why I hate this shit. You guys acted like a business, and now you're being like, oh no, we didn't operate together. See, this is why I don't want to read a lot of this shit, because it's like a lot of back and forth and sometimes contradictory. Right? Right, the issue is I think she's overwriting, and then she puts herself in a contradiction because she's overwriting so much. People do that all the time too. This is why you need to be clear, concise, and that is it. Right? Because if you divulge more, right? If you divulge more than what's needed, you might go in a fucking circle sometimes, and then you fuck yourself. That's what I think is going on here. Because there's just so much fucking information for the past 5 years. Like, Jesus Christ, woman. Always women, too. Fucking dropping these fucking Google Docs, too. Fucking. Jeez. God. Ugh. Fucking hell. Anyways, I'm gonna have to close it there, because I gotta go. I gotta eat something. Go to fucking bed. 'Cause I gotta wake up early in the morning. So yeah. Yeah, that's gotta be it for the reading for now. Oof, man. Just another fucking day of just headache, pain and suffering. Maybe I should just stop this pain and suffering. Maybe I should just end it all. Oh god. Anyways, I will be back tomorrow. We will look at more news, maybe read more of the fucking article. Maybe read more of this shit. I don't know if I want to continue with this. Cuz this shit isn't towards me, right? When I read this shit, I think it's made by a high schooler made by a high schooler who got out of high school, went to college, learned some shit there, and then didn't really progress in a job or career. And then just blindly stayed in this fucking this streaming bullshit job career. You can't even call streaming a job or career because it's not fucking stable. It's unstable as fuck. It's not even considered a real fucking job by the government. There's no benefits. There's no pension, right? There's no. I don't even. Do you guys get Social Security? Probably not, right? You're not even paying into a lot of the government programs that's supposed to get you money. But, well, even if you do get into those programs aren't going to even fucking matter anymore in the future because they all been fucked up because the government fucked everything. Whatever, I don't... I hate this world. There's so many fucking problems and it just makes me want to fucking put a bullet in my head. Because all these problems just kept compounding and compounding because people kept being fucking retards and kept fucking up the system. Now we have this backlog of just bullshit. You know what would be easier to clear this backlog of bullshit? Hanging people. Putting people into asylums. Giving people death penalty, just getting exiling people sometimes. Maybe oh man, it would be much easier. Anyways, I'm getting out of here. I'm fucking tired of this shit. There's too much bullshit right now. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see what's on the news.